cleric to join us, and then we're good to go. So I'll wait a few more minutes, and then, to be honest, we can get going.
Okay.
That's excellent.
Okay, I'm going to take a 2-minute AFK just to go and get the obligatory cup of tea, and then I'll be back.
Sounds good.
Milk, 1 sugar, please.
If you don't mind. It's not too much trouble.
Oh, definitely. So you guys, on Discord, do you use button to actually do the talk, or do you let the thing do it automatically?
I use it automatically.
Right, okay. I might just quickly change that.
Yeah, I probably should use the buttons because I have the kids that like to yell randomly, even though I'm 2 rooms away. But I usually just have to be quick on the click to the mute button.
Yeah. Tell me about it, because I'm actually in the kitchen, which is probably the worst place to be.
A lot of people play from the kitchen.
Yeah, I've got the bifolds out to the back garden. It's very nice. It's very pleasant in here, but it's yeah, it's a very popular area sometimes. So hands up, who's really excited about this?
I won't shut up about it. My wife is so over it. She doesn't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah, so same here.
Yeah, most of my friends don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The only thing so far I haven't been too keen on with this, I don't know if you've ever played Roll20, is that in Roll20 I can load the game whenever I want, so I can just start it up. I just can't do anything other than tweak my character sheet, which is really nice. The server doesn't have to be up, it's just always available. Or I would have been in here messing with my stats all for the past week and a half.
Yeah, I suppose there is that. I think we have to blame Stuart for that.
He probably doesn't want us getting into more trouble and we don't really know what we're doing.
That's the thing. It could be quite scary, couldn't it? If Stuart comes in and goes, "What?
What did you do?"
So guys, you'll have to bear with me. I've been trying to get my head around all the rules again, but it just reminds.
Me too.
Yeah, so I have the book here, all open and ready, and a notepad.
Oh yeah, notes. I have to get that off. Yep.
So just for me, on the whole, I think Fantasy Grounds is absolutely amazing.
It's very cool so far, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really loving it, and I spent a small fortune on all the D&D books. We won't go there.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that bundle price, and I was like, "Holy cow, that's crazy!"
Yeah.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Yeah, sound good.
Sounds good.
Apparently my settings were wrong. I've been sitting here going off like a magpie to y'all, and yeah.
we couldn't hear a word, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I had that earlier because it seems like Discord just goes to default a lot of times, doesn't it, when you restart it?
I'm just glad it's fixed.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right, I think the other cleric, Fandel, is about to log in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm on Discord. I just got to connect to the Fantasy Grounds.
Okay, it's all right. Plenty of time. We haven't started.
Yeah.
So just to fill you in, the idea is that this is very much something that I've put together fairly quickly, just to give everybody a chance to flex their dice muscles, make sure they're using suitably weighted dice, because there'll be times when you'll need to roll that D20. and get 20. Also, it's a chance to have a play with the combat tracker, maps, character settings, and so on. So I thought rather than just going through lots and lots of tutorials, it would probably be more fun if we put together a fairly quick adventure.
Yeah,
it's very much tangential to Out of the Abyss. This is sort of taken from a homebrew setting that I've used from time to time with the kids I look after at school when I run games for them. Just hopefully you've got that map of the ridings. I put it in Discord. It's winter, and you're all going to meet in a rather strange, I suppose, inn known as the Hooded Man. The inn is odd because, first of all, it's 3 stories, which is quite large. It's in very much an out-of-the-way spot. The nearest town is almost a week away, and it straddles both sides of a large river known as the Kenting Rush. Kenting Rush heads quickly out of the Red Hills across to your northeast, down into a bay, and the Hooded Man Inn is kind of split into 3. It straddles both sides with a ferry in between. As it happens, there are 2 brothers that run the Hooded Man, but the Hooded Man predates much of the local landscape. Anyway, winter has settled in with a vengeance. The landscape is now blanketed in snow and beginning to settle down into what's going to be a long and, most people would hope, a restful winter's sleep. With a thick covering of snow everywhere, the sounds are muted. There's not much traffic on the small roads, certainly not those that link North Greengate to the south. And the nearest small settlement to where you folks are currently sheltering from the snows and the storms, the nearest hamlet is called Seething, which again is about 2, maybe 3 days away. The only reason you've got for coming to the Hooded Man is because there's a large fair not too far south from the Hooded Man. Having enjoyed the pre-winter festivities there, when the winter snows began to howl down from the Red Hills, you decided it was time to seek shelter, and you were drawn like moths to a flame to the 3-story edifice known as the Hooded Man. And there you are. So, very quickly, so Rogdan is a massive dragon-like warrior. Frex is a tall, slender ranger. Emma is a half-elf rogue. You've got a human cleric, a priest, and a dwarven priest. Welcome, Grundar. So the 5 of you sheltering together in the tap room of the eastern of the buildings that make up the Hooded Man have got to know each other reasonably well. Have you got any questions for me before we get started at all?
No, I'm good.
Questions?
Okay.
Are the drinks available yet?
An ale, and it's quite good. The winter ale that they are brewing is not ready yet, but certainly the spring and summer ales that they've prepared are good. Not as strong as perhaps Grundar would like, or Rogdan, but they're certainly quite good enough, and certainly not watered down either. Clearly the owners of the Hooded Man, both east and west, take pride in what they serve. The food is wholesome, hot. You've possibly had better, but on your long journey here to enjoy the winter festivities, you've certainly had worse. And anything beats week after week of trail rations. So, you're sheltering from the storm that is just beginning to howl around the eaves and rafters of the tap room. when there is a slam as the door smashes open from behind you. The inn's fires were banked up to keep you warm. There's no shortage of firewood, and you all take your turns trotting outside to come in with armloads of firewood when needed. However, the icy blast to your backs that causes the fire to suddenly flare in the fireplace jolts you out of what was probably going to be a pleasant evening playing cards, dice, or maybe trying to convince Grundar and Rogdan that trying to arm wrestle everybody in the tap room was not a good idea. Three men pause in the doorway. One is clearly quite well dressed, but pale and injured. Clearly some sort of nobleman, young, in his mid-20s. The rich cloak that he wears and stylish clothes, set him apart from his companions. Both of these look quite tough, quite weathered, and are clearly manservant or bodyguards. The nobleman is clearly hurt, is very pale, and looks like, by the way that he's supporting his arm, he's possibly broken his arm. Both of his retainers are armed with what look like wickedly curving blades. One of the men is carrying saddlebags, so obviously they rode in through the snows. The other is supporting his master, and it's he who calls out, "We need some help for Lord Montacure. His horse threw him, and he's done gone and bust his shoulder. Here, can you make room at the fire, matey?" And with that, Threnlow begins to muscle his way past some of the other tapmen and make his way towards you. What do you want to do?
I would
Leave like fire.
As a cleric, I would love to help him and assist.
Okay.
Is the door still open?
No. Yes, it is actually. They're both more concerned. You can see the other of the men go straight over to the barman and point upstairs, obviously trying to order a room. They've kind of ignored the door.
Okay.
Some of the other patrons sort of look in surprise, in disgust that you leave the door open on a night like this, and they've actually already taken care of the door.
Okay.
One of the farmers stomps over and kicks the door shut with a muttered curse. Excuse me. Brian, you step up and offer to help. Lord Montacure, for that is the nobleman's name, gasps out, well, thank you. Freyas. Oh, it hurts. And Threnlow looks around, sizes you up, and then helps his master down into a seat. Brian, can you give me a medicine, please?
Right, okay. So is that a D20?
Yeah, so that's a skill. So if you go to your skill tab, which is your second tab down, grab the something that says +5, grab that and toss that into the chat window. This isn't very difficult.
Lovely.
Nice.
It's clear that he's dislocated his shoulder. Looking at the damage to his lower arm, it's possible that he's broken his wrist as well. Upper arm, though, fortunately, is fine. Probably best thing to do, unless you want to expend spells, but they're not going to really aid him too much, is just to splint the wound, perhaps with Grundar's help, if Grundar's interested, and just to get him to rest.
While Brian is tending to the nobleman, I will make sure his ale does not go to waste.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, does Emma perceive anything about or know anything about these guys?
Give me a perception roll, Emma.
Okay.
So Emma's quite young, streetwise, I suppose.
Yeah. And she travelled all around Faerun, so...
Glancing at the two warriors, Emma, it's clear that both of the retainers are swordsmen of some ability. Calluses on their right hands. You can see that one, the person who carried as he went upstairs with the saddlebags, has a wicked-looking scar behind his right ear. The other man, Threnlo, he's not scarred. In fact, he's quite good-looking still. But you can see in his eyes and the way he holds himself that he's perfectly relaxed, being around a lot of people. And you're judging by the calluses and the scars on his hand that the scimitar that he carries has seen service as well. And certainly it's a fairly plain, sort of simple weapon. Rogdan, can you give me a perception roll as well, please? You're of a warrior type, a warrior race, certainly.
Ooh.
The scimitar's a scimitar. Plain, serviceable, and you bet it's sharp. But
Well,
that's about all you can tell.
well done.
I'll ask Threnlo, was the horse injured? Is it outside?
No, the horse is fine. That's all right. That's been stabled, thank you. It's my master I'm worried about. And he looks at you, Frex, as you tend to the wound, and he nods somewhat knowingly as you start splinting it and applying some bandages just to straighten the wrist, and then you start supporting it. The nobleman sort of relaxes in your ministrations, Frex, but you can see that he's in quite a bit of pain. Having strapped his arm up, he dismisses Threnlo and asks Threnlo to go and get some ale, and then he looks at the rest of you, and certainly you, Frex, and says, "My thank." Sorry, you, Brian, and says, "My thank you. Please, can I get you something? You've been very kind."
He's out of ale.
Yeah, an ale would be most grateful. Thank you.
Right, so he looks around. So that would be Rogdan, Frex, Grundar, Brian, Emma as well.
Emma doesn't really drink that much.
Okay. He sends Threnlo off to get some ale. Threnlo stomps off. And Lord Montacure, who introduces himself as Percival, thanks you again, Brian, for your ministrations, and then winces as he puts his damaged shoulder on the arm and says, "Oh, this snows. We were riding fast we were trying to get out of the snows, and my damned horse shied, threw me from the saddle, and it's trained, you know. Oh, goodness me! I've never done anything like this before." And then he looks around and he seems to notice you for the first time. Before we go any further, let me just where are we? There we go. So Percival is well dressed, a ridiculously florid and flouncy white shirt complete with ruffles, what's clearly a very expensive tie pin, and cufflinks to boot as well. Percival now sizes up the rest of you, and his eyes, I suppose, widen slightly, Rogdan, when he catches or notices you really sitting with your back to one of the walls, drinking. He pauses for a minute, bites his lip and says, "So, would I be would I be mistaken in thinking you are adventurers? What brings you here?"
Come for the festival.
Ah, yes, the Freya's my shoulder. The festival. And then he, Rogdan, did you leave your, so we're going to assume that you've got runes. You can have single runes for a silver piece, or for a copper piece, you can share sort of an upstairs common room, sort of up on the 3rd floor. Now, the common room will sleep about 15 people. Either way, it's seen as etiquette to kind of leave weapons upstairs. There's no law against having your weapons downstairs, but it's good manners to leave your weapons upstairs, just in case, I don't know, a dwarf and a dragonborn get in drunk, match goes too far.
Right.
Do you want to leave your weapons upstairs, or do you want to bring them down?
Mine is always with me.
Emma carries her 2 short daggers where nobody can really see them. The rest is
Okay.
upstairs.
Okay. Frex, what about you?
I'll leave mine upstairs. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
And I'll leave mine upstairs as well. I'm assuming I've got a warhammer.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, brilliant.
So Percival looks at you and looks at obviously Rogda, size of the axe, nonchalantly leant against the wall. Listen, he says. Clearly, I hate to impose, but I'm in need of some aid if you'd help me. I can pay you. That's not a problem. Look, I'm frankly, the truth is, I'm not best equipped for travelling in these sorts of climes, and well, if the truth be told, I mean, my father just despairs of me. He pauses for a minute and is clearly embarrassed, and then he leans into you and he tells you a rather distressing tale. He tells you that his sister has been snatched from the streets of a nearby town, and within days the Montacure family received a rather hefty ransom note. Hefty for everybody but his father, who's quite a successful merchant trader. Anyway, the sum of money was gathered quite quickly, and Threnlo, a long-serving and trusted member of the family, and a particularly close servant for Cordelia, his sister, rode off with the money that they've got in the saddlebag. Now, his father insisted that another mercenary, a guy called Mercer, who's you've seen go upstairs to get the rooms ready, accompany them. Anyway, the money is due by the time of the next full moon, and that's just 2 days away. Percival, being thrown from his horse, is aware that he's just not really up for this sort of job. He trusts Mercer and Threnlo completely, but he knows that he's not going to be capable if anything goes wrong, and he doubts that he's going to be able to make the rest of the journey either by horse or foot to where they're due to rendezvous. So Percival leans in and says, look, I'm really desperately sorry about this, but I was wondering if you could help. There's no way, and he points at his shoulder, I just can't manage the journey now, and I've got to get the money to those despicable people who hold my sister. Could you help?
Would your mercenaries be going with us?
Oh, of course, Threnlo will accompany. I doubt Mercer will. My father would be furious if he thought I was left unattended. So I suggest you take Threnlo. He was very close to my sister, and he's a very handy man in a fight. Fought in the wars, you know.
Sure.
Terrible temper when he loses it, but very dependable.
I kind of look around at everybody's face and gather whether or not they have any interest, and I tell them we'd be interested in helping you possibly.
Good. Emma is willing to try to haggle for the price, like at least half of the ransom money, if we free her.
Percival looks at you and says, goodness, half, that's a colossal sum, young lady. I'm sorry. No, I can't authorize that sort of payment. My father would be furious. Look, I can offer you here, and he reaches with his left hand and rests what looks like a small leather pouch on the table. And he says, look, this is my purse. Here, take it. It's all I have on me apart from the ransom money.
How far is the rendezvous point?
The rendezvous point is at a place called Beacon Hill, and if you walk, it's going to be 2 days. It's about a day's ride otherwise, because you fellows haven't got horses. But Percival offers to buy you horses if necessary. If there are enough horses of a decent sort that will take you that far, he's quite willing to buy you horses and saddlebags if there are any to be had in the inn, which is doubtful, but not out of the question, given that there's just been a big winter fair. He offers to pay you. Who's taking the purse to have a look at?
Emma can do it.
Emma.
Yeah. Emma takes the purse and peers inside it.
Emma, just weighting the purse, you can feel it's fairly light, but actually when you look in, all of the coins are gold coins.
Uh-huh.
Looking at them quickly, you would estimate, without counting them out, there's about 100 gold, which is a good sum of money.
Definitely worth. We feel it's worth the hiring the 5 of us.
He looks at you and he says, "Look, please. I mean, I'm desperate. I can't offer you more without my father's say so. Look, I'm sure. I mean, they promised to cut pieces off of them.
No, we won't let her come.
Barbarians.
We'll do our best to make sure she doesn't come to any harm, but this part of it is business. It's nothing personal.
I understand. Look, please be assured, if you hand over the saddlebags with the payment the barbarians have demanded, if you return my
barbarians,
he will reward you handsomely." He looks at you, Rogdan, and says, "Yes, possibly not best chosen words. They are."
Well, they're not as trained and as elite barbarian as you.
And so Emma is asking to clarify our mission a bit. Are we supposed to deliver the ransom money and then take the sister back? Or
Yes.
are we supposed to just free her and not pay the ransom money?
You suggest this, and Percival frowns and says, I think the last is going to be too risky, just for safety.
For all we know, they might seek reprisal. They might just go and take her again. I think that if we did...
And he shrugs. He's clearly out of his depth.
Yeah.
Can all 5 of you give me perception roll, please?
Yup.
Percival is clearly in pain. He's quite pale, and he's nursing his shoulder. And every now and again, he just rubs around the wrist where it's been heavily splintered.
Just once we've reached sort of an agreement, I'd like to go to to their horse, the horse that threw him, and just check it out, just to see if it was tampered with. Maybe, for all we know, one of these guys messed with his horse and is sort of an agent for this. Holy crap. Good roll, Brian.
It took a while, but Brian was just cleaning his glasses.
I do apologise.
Emma and Brian, Percival is clearly out of his depth. He's somewhat effete. He's bookish. He's certainly not really somebody who is happy being on horseback. So when you start suggesting alternative plans and so on, he very much retreats into, well, my father told me too. However, you get the feeling that he would be quite happy if you could keep the money safe and return it to him, obviously, by terminating the evil people that kidnapped his beloved sister.
Sure.
Okay.
However, he's unwilling to voice this because he's aware that he's completely out of his depth. Okay, so the rest of you can talk to Percival if you want. Threnlo has returned, and as he sits down, he does that military thing of looking around the tavern first, making sure that the chair he's going to sit in has got a stout wall behind him, and then he turns the chair round so he straddles it with the back of the chair facing you. He doesn't say much, but he gives you all the once over. His eyes flicker over to your weapon, but then he remains silent. Mercer hasn't reappeared. Frex, you wish to go outside to the horse?
Yes, please. Just to check it over and see if I see anything that maybe they, messed with the horse in some way and caused it to rear up, or sort of orchestrating some sort of ruse.
The stable itself is attached. It's a 2-story affair with the upper being used to store hay and so on. In fact, when you first came in, Rogdan and possibly Grundar has sized up the stables, knowing that if they drank all their money, at least they'd have somewhere warm, dry to sleep. That's not happened yet, but it's fast approaching. The stable has about a dozen horses in it, all of whom are munching contentedly on hay. Judging that the 3 slightly more restless horses, still slightly damp, has not been brushed or combed fully yet, are the 3 horses that have come in. You make your way towards those, Frex. Can you give me an investigate roll, please? Because you're going to go over the horses with your hands and eyes, just checking them closely for any damage.
No.
They look like horses.
They look like horses. Now, what you've all got, if you notice on star, I hope. So
Yes.
if you look on your character sheet under main, next to name, there's something which says insp. That stands for inspiration. And if you like, if you play Savage Worlds, it's almost the equivalent of a Benny or a hero point in some games. So you can use an inspiration to re-roll any dice roll that you want, apart from a damage roll.
That's
So
excellent.
Frex, if you wish, you can use an inspiration to re-roll that investigate, if you wish.
Sure. Do I just click
Now-
the inspiration button?
So yeah, click on the inspiration, that will remove it, and then you make that investigation check again.
Oh, wait. This investigation. Oh, no, it's okay. I thought I might.
Okay, so Frex, make that investigation roll again. Sorry.
That was inspired.
The horse is, uninspired. The horse is obviously a little bit anxious by the way that you're rummaging around looking for their udders for a start. And you get a swift kick in the chest and a knockdown.
Yeah, that's what I was.
No, it's impossible to tell whether the horses are hampered. But there are enough horses here that if their owners could be persuaded to sell them to Lord Montacure, you could perhaps get horses out of this for a start.
Okay.
Meanwhile, inside the tavern,
I want to investigate Frex's ale while he's investigating the horse.
okay, you can do that. Grundar, I'm assuming. Grundar, can you give me... well, it's up to you. Grundar, do you want to make it known that you love your ale, or keep it secret that actually you're a bit of a lush?
No, I don't think that's a secret.
Okay. Grundar coughs and just reaches over and says, "Finders losers," or whatever it is, and takes it. Okay.
I come back in, I brush off the snow, I look at my empty drink, I look at Grundar and I say, I couldn't find anything strange about the horses.
Your ale's fine.
Right.
Good.
Grundar says it's okay. Your ale isn't poisoned. Yet. But you might
Always
want to
looking out, Grundar. As long as you don't test my food, we'll be fine.
I don't think Grundar's that interested. So, Percival tells you that the place that you've got to go to used to be a hospital. So the handover is going to be in an old hospital, been long abandoned. It used to belong to his family, but it's been abandoned for possibly 50 or 60 years. Certainly nobody that he can replace. And it stands about 2 days away from here, across towards the small hamlet of Seething, on an old hill known as Beacon Hill. Nobody can really remember why the hill is called Beacon Hill, why the hospital was called Beacon Hospital, but that's the nature of things. Anyway, it's been long abandoned. Apparently it's a great sprawling monstrosity of a house that was built when the family had more money than sense. and it was used to house all sorts of insane, deranged, delusional, and so on. So local rumours go, so the legend is, one of the inmates, a particularly violent managed to set fire to his bedding. The fire caught the roof rafters. The fire wasn't contained in time. Inmates escaped. There were some deaths, and the place was never reopened.
Sounds wonderful.
I'm asked if he has a map of the place.
No, he says, there's no map, certainly that I know of. I know that the place is now just a single-story affair. I believe the upper floor long ago collapsed. I think so. My father said that there was a conservatory at the back, which he could remember used to house an exotic collection, I think, herbs or some such. But oh, my shoulder. But I can't quite remember. Oh, and then there's the strange flint tower that the place is attached to. Predates the asylum, of course. But nobody really knows what its purpose was. A beacon, I imagine. Yes, a beacon, obviously. Yes, a beacon. Oh, my shoulder.
Is there a reason, was there a reason why your father sent you? It seems like this is a mission much better served for his trusted mercenaries. Why would he send you out?
Yeah, good question.
In this weather and under these conditions, it's very dangerous out here.
Percival looks a bit puzzled for a minute, and then he says, I think my father wanted just to make sure that somebody was there to represent the family. It looks terrible in the eyes of others. You there to go and rescue another member of the family. I can only imagine it's that. Frenlo coughs at this point, and obviously looks like he wants to say something, but doesn't. But he does sort of lean over and says, "I'm sure you've probably got the right of it, Master. Bless him. Just wanted to make sure there was a family member here, and of course he couldn't have done wrong picking you, sir.
Yeah, it was just.
I know you're young, but I'm sure you'll do fine, sir." And he looks at all of you to say, "No more questions."
Sure, accidents happen. I think we're all in agreement. I think we can help you. There seem to be enough horses for us too in the stable, if they're amenable to the sale.
Ah, excellent, says Percival. Threnlo, could you possibly see if the barman's interested, if the whatever his name is interested in selling any of these mounts? You can, of course, take mine and Mercer's. Threnlo nods and says, "All right, Master, I'll see what he can do." And he stomps off to the bar. Percival looks at you all and says, So what's the food like then? And he looks at you, Grundar, and smiles and says, "I gather the ale is good. What's the food like?"
I haven't got to that yet.
He's on a liquid diet.
Oh, sorry.
Carry on, Neil.
Sorry, I was going to say the food's good, but probably not quite up to your standard, Percival.
Says, no, but it's rather quaint in here, isn't it? Charming in its own way. I suppose I should probably, and he looks at you, Brian, and says, I should probably eat something and then rest, don't you think?
That is a grand idea, and maybe a little ale.
Okay, ale. He looks at you, Grundar. What would you recommend?
3.
I see. Threnlo, again. Oh, my shoulder. Again.
Those 3 are for me. Get one for yourself, too.
Oh, I see. He says, 3. And he indicates you, Grundar. And then he says, and 1 for these. Then he looks at you, Emma, and says, and you, young lady. Wine, perhaps? Something finer, something more palatable?
No, I'm fine. I think I'm gonna freshen up a bit upstairs in my room before we go out. So Emma goes to upstairs, and she tries to find the room where the saddlebags are.
So the second floor, where all the private rooms are, you can see Mercer exiting one of the doors, and he carefully locks the door, and you can see he's got 3 keys with him, obviously 3 separate rooms. He looks at you for a minute and then carries on purposefully walking down the middle of the narrow corridor, forcing you to move out of the way.
Okay, I just pretend I'm going to my room and wait until he's downstairs, and then I try to pick open the doors.
Okay. As he walks past, he pauses for a minute with his back to you, Emma. He doesn't turn round, but he says in a raspy voice, I'm not a fool, little girl. You break into those rooms and I'll cut your bloody hands off. Do you know what I mean? Right, thought so. And he walks on down the stairs.
She had to try.
Yeah.
Emma, do you still want to break into the rooms?
Yep.
I thought so. Good girl. Okay, Emma, so you can go to the door that Mercer came out of. It's medium difficult to pick, so what you're looking at doing is making a skill roll. And the way that most people do this is if you add a skill called Thieves' Tools. So if you go, there's a little brown button up which says Edit. So if you click on Edit List.
Wait, where is that?
So there's a little brown button with a diagonal white mark right at the bottom of your sheet. If you click on that, that will say Edit List. And if you then scroll up to the top, bit of a pain, you've now got a green cross with an Add Item.
Add item, yeah.
If you click on that, that will open up a blank skill description.
Wait, I'm in the wrong thing. Okay, here, yeah.
And then if you type...
No, I don't get... So I go to the skills tab.
Yes, go to the skills tab.
I click on that brown thing.
Yeah.
Edit list. I don't get... I only get like a red thing. Delete item. Not... here. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, let me just delete one of them for you. Right, so if you type in there, Thieves' Tools.
Okay. Yep.
And then there's a little star towards the left-hand side. Click on that because you're proficient in them.
Yep. Okay.
And then there's a button which says Stat. Now that will cycle through all of your attributes. If you click it once, it goes to Strength, set it to Dex. Right, you've now got essentially a skill called Thieves' Tools.
Okay.
Right, you now click on that brown button at the bottom again to stop editing the list.
Okay. Yep.
Right. Now what you can do is just drag that total, which says +5, across into the window, and it will automatically roll a 20-sided dice and add all your bonuses.
Oh.
After all that, you failed. That was rubbish. Mercer immediately comes up the stairs and says, "Get me a real rogue." Okay. Oops. I think I'll just put that in caps. So you try on that first door, but clearly, though the lock looks relatively simple, they make good locks here.
Yeah, it seems so.
And you failed. Now, you don't know how long Mercer is going to be away downstairs. You can try again, or you can try another room.
I'm going to try another one.
Okay. You move across to the right after anxiously looking across to see if Mercer returned. There was something quite chilling in the way that the man spoke to you. You try the next door. Give me another roll, please. Anything over 10 will do.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Well done.
So the door opens and there's a simple room with a set of saddlebags over the one bed. The bed covers you can see have been disturbed slightly as if somebody is sat down. And you can see there's a heavy cloak that's been hung up behind the door. The cloak is still slightly damp. Nothing else in the room apart from the saddlebag.
Okay, I go to the saddlebags and look what's inside.
Okay, give me a perception roll, please, as you search the saddle.
Yep.
Oh, well done.
Okay, right. Anytime anybody rolls what I'm going to do is to give them an inspiration. But since everybody apart from Frex has one, that's not going to affect it this time. But anyway, Emma, so looking through the bag, you can find what looks like some travelling equipment. So some grooming equipment in terms of hairbrushes and so on. You can find some pens, some paper. You can also find a change of clothes. And the clothes are quite fine. You suspect this room is going to be used by Percival, but there's no sign of the money.
Okay. And the damp cloak on the door is a normal cloak, or?
Yes, it's a travelling cloak, possibly a cloak that Percival was wearing over the cloak that he already had to the young nobleman. And certainly, by the way, the snow suddenly smashes against the windscreen. The storm is now hit in earnest.
Okay, since there's nothing really useful in that saddlebag, I quickly leave the room and go down. Oh.
You want to try another door?
Would I be hearing it when he comes up?
Okay, so you pause, Emma, as you lock the door behind you, which I won't get you to roll. Give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Oh.
With the excitement of having opened your first ever door, congratulations, and the blood pounding in your ears, no, you can't hear anything. As far as you can tell, Mercer is not coming up the stairs. Now, there is something called a tower, which I'll activate for the next session. So this would allow you to make a roll into something called the tower. So you don't see the results, but I do. But we'll play with that next game session.
Okay.
Right, cool.
So no, as far as you can tell, Emma, Mercer is not coming up the stairs.
Okay.
Meanwhile, downstairs, Threnlo has come back with some ale. Percival, in the absence of Threnlo, once he's gone, says, "Look, frankly, I think my father has sent me just to see if I'm any worth to him. See, I'm into books mostly and history and the like. And well, my father's always been a bit of a man of action, really. He takes after great grandfather, respect. And I think he sent me along to see if I can prove myself. Mercer's an absolute brick, and Threnlo, of course, absolutely devoted to my sister and my family. But they've done their best with me, but I'm just not cut out for this." And he looks a little bit embarrassed. Anyway, Threnlo comes back just as Mercer comes downstairs and walks over to join you. He nods at you all, doesn't say anything, and sits slightly distant from you all. Emma, meanwhile, upstairs, you want to try a third door.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay, thieves' tools again.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Obviously, with practice now, you've got used to this rather blocking.
Yeah, my hands were a bit like...
and cold as well. Probably. And the ale is beginning... Well, no, you weren't drinking. It's probably Grundar's beer fumes are beginning to wear off. Sitting next to a dwarf with halitosis, alcoholic halitosis dwarf is not good. So you managed to pick the lock. Inside you can see another similar room to the one you've just been in. The saddlebags over this bed frame, though, seem to be a little bit larger, but the saddlebags themselves are a lot, well, they're more worn. You can also see there's hanging up. You can see what looks like a scabbard on the bed, and next to the bed on a table there's a cleaning kit. There's a whetstone, some weapon oil, and some rags.
Okay, I'll check out the saddlebags first.
Okay, perception roll, please.
Yep.
Change of clothes, a small, what looks like a small silver locket, and there's also, in one pannier, there's a large black box. Black box is not locked, it's got 2 catches on it. You wish to open the box.
Open the box.
Inside you can see what looks like a collapsible hand crossbow. Now, you know that weapons such as this are quite a, and really only found in hands of trade. These sort of small hand crossbows don't really do too much damage, but they're a great weapon for a horseman. Great weapon as a surprise, certainly if the bolts are poisoned or drugged in some way. So whoever's saddlebag this is an experienced soldier of some description.
Okay, yeah.
And the crossbow, the hand crossbow you've got, which will slot together, is very, very expensive indeed. You're talking hundreds of gold coins.
It's probably going to be Trenlo's. He's coming with us. I won't pick that. No, I just leave the room and leave everything as it is.
Okay.
It's good to know he has that, to be honest, if he's with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so down below, the mercenaries join you, and after a short while, Emma comes down. Can I have Rogdan, Frex, Grundar, and Brian make perception rolls, please?
Come on, dice, don't embarrass me.
Changing colours, as I said to some of you, changing sometimes works a charm. Rogdan, you notice that as Emma comes down, Mercer's eyes flick over towards her, and you can see a faint smile play about his lips. But he doesn't respond, and he leans his chair back against the wall and just folds his arms and seems to close his eyes, reaching at the same time for a pouch at his left side, which turns out to have a pipe and pipe weed. And without looking at any of you, but with his eyes half closed, he just goes through the mechanics of loading up his pipe and putting his pipe into his mouth. Right, Trenlo comes back and says, that's all right, Master Montacure. I've got some horses for you all. I suggest you stay here with Mercer. Is that all right, Mercer? And Mercer just nods, doesn't open his eyes. And Trenlo says, so that'll be me and these brave young folks going off to get Lady Cordelia then. And he looks at you and says, so when do you want to go, Master?
Oh, is it, what time is it? Is it nighttime or daytime?
Yeah, it's late evening now, so
I'm fine heading out for Slay.
Yeah, you could do, yeah. Can you all make history rolls, please? So history is a skill. I doubt that many of you will have any proficiency in it.
Oh, you guys are making me so self-conscious.
Damn it, says Frex, I'm skilled in this.
I even changed my color dice.
So, Grundar, you know that, and certainly Emma as well. You know that the region towards the Red Hills, or this region, has been in the past plagued with goblins and kobolds. During the winter months, particularly with the heavy snows, the kobolds will probably retreat deep underground into their burrows, and the goblins tend to go sort of into a period of watchfulness, waiting for the spring to appear, and then for them to try their chance their arm at raiding outlying human settlements. So you're not expecting any trouble in the wilds outdoors. Your biggest problem is just going to be tracking your way towards Beacon Hill. But given the name and nature of the place, gosh, how hard can it be? Head towards the nearest big hill with what looks like a ruined building on it. So you're fairly confident that you can make your way there.
Okay, do you want to head out a little bit before first light? Start.
I think Emma wants to ride out right away. Like, there is a bit of a time pressure, and God knows what comes on our way, so...
Isn't there a storm at the moment?
There is. Yeah, the snow is swirling quite heavily. You may want... you can go out now if you wish.
Maybe not at night in a
better to
snowstorm.
leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, we wait till the storm subsides then.
Okay.
So it's time for another ale.
Okay.
Now I want to check the nag that I'm going to be riding. I'm going to go out to the stable.
Okay. Who's going? Grundar, you were going out to the stable, were you?
That's correct.
Is that where you choose to sleep?
No, I have a room.
Okay. I just wondered if you're going to be there and just drinks.
I like some ale, but I prefer a bed too.
Okay. So Grundar heads off stables. Grundar, I mean, I suppose you can help start saddling or looking at the horse. Threnlo says that each of you will obviously have a horse. Obviously, for you, Grundar, horses don't often make the best of company. But again, how hard can it be? Just hold on to the thing with everything you've got, including your teeth. And everything should be well. So you decide to leave at first light. It's not long before Percival, with apologies and his thanks, heads off upstairs. Mercer nods at you all, and he goes up as well. Threnlo goes up as well. Mercer stays down below, but just smoking his pipe, and from time to time he walks over to the bar and gets himself an ale.
Okay, Emma, did you tell us what you found in the room? The crossbow?
Yeah, I'll tell you now. And
Like discreetly.
Banding together what I found and the crossbow and stuff, and that I couldn't get into what is probably Mercer's room.
Okay.
Emma doesn't really trust that guy.
Yeah. As they go up then with that knowledge, I'd like to head to my room, but I'd like to see if Threnlo is really the owner of the crossbow.
Okay. Right, so Grundar, is there anything in particular you want to get done in the stables, or are you just investigating something else?
Well, I was taking a look. There was a horse accident before. I know Frex went to investigate that, but I want to make sure that the horses are what they seem to be, and nobody's cut saddles or anything like that.
Okay. Right, give me, so you check the saddles first of all, Grundar. Give me an investigate roll, please. Okay. Can't see anything in their saddles. It doesn't look like cut. The girths are fine. They're all intact. The saddles are worn, but still perfectly serviceable. In fact, they're quite good make, really. Right. Give me another one for the horses, please.
Make this one higher. Oh, you went the wrong way.
Sorry.
I thought maybe I could inspire your dice.
I mean, it's a little bit difficult when you're only about 4 tall and the horses are 6 foot. You've got to take that into account. Right, Grundar, you can use inspiration if you want, or you can save it for when you think you really need it.
I feel like there's something going on.
I'm going to go ahead and use it now.
Okay, so right, make that roll again then. Come on, Grundle.
Good luck. Oh,
The dice gods do not want us
direction.
Right, looking at these dice rolls, I think Out of the Abyss could be beyond us. Okay, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, so Grundle, you check over the horses, and again, you can't see anything untoward about them. 3 of the beasts seem to be settling down, and with that, and with a waste of time that was, you probably come back inside. Right, Frex, upstairs, glancing down the corridor, you can see that Percival goes into the middle of the 3 rooms, and this happens to be the room that you probably suspect, actually, that it was the first room that Emma was able to open. Percival pauses, and you can faintly hear some conversation outside. Percival's voice is obviously concerned about his sister, and Threnlo's voice just calming his master down, saying, "Don't you worry, we'll get her back, sir. We'll get her back. Are you sure these folks are good? You see the size of that bloody axe? That'll fell trees, let alone people," and so on and so forth. So Threnlo sounds confident, and when his master shuts the door, he glances around. Frex, can you give me a perception roll, please? You duck out of sight and just try and hear. And you can hear. Sorry, it's all right.
Trying to do worse than me, huh?
Yeah. Threnlo mutters something, but you can't make out what. And then you poke your head around quickly, and you can see Threnlo going through another room. This is the room that, unfortunately, Emma was not able to open.
Oh, damn it.
So the crossbow actually belongs to Mercer.
Unsurprisingly, Mercer has an assassin's weapon.
Yeah.
So Mercer, refresh my memory, if any of you guys remember, he was the one that the father insisted go along. Threnlo,
Yes.
Threnlo is the one, the trusted companion who's just...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Threnlo is, a beloved by both, not beloved, but, really popular with Cordelia and Percival.
Mm-hmm.
He's closer in age to them, not quite as intimidating, and so on. Mercer is clearly, there's an aura of menace around, difficult to warm to the man, and he's not somebody who enjoys the at all. He's made no effort to engage you in conversation.
Sure.
Rogdan, Frex, Emma and Brian, can you give me perception? Actually, all 5 of you can give me perception roll.
Yep.
So there are a number of times when he went up to the bar to get ale. Wow. We need to change game systems. We're rolling low as in. Oh, Emma. You notice that when Mercer got his drink, before he got his first drink, there was a whispered conversation. The barman frowned a little bit, shrugged, looked a little bit confused, but nodded. Whenever, and Mercer has had 3 sort of large tankards now. Whenever Mercer has a tankard of ale, the tankard is filled from the cask which has ale, and then is out of sight for a while, as if something else is being added to it, or something is being done to it. And you've noticed, Emma, that the tankard Mercer is drinking from doesn't have the same creamy, frothy head that the rest of you have. But he makes no effort to indulge in conversation, leans against the flint wall, and puffs and pulls contentedly on his pipe with his eyes half closed. Do you want to do anything else?
I would like, if Emma, I mean, I guess I shouldn't keep asking it, is if there's anything, Emma, that you get and you don't want to share with us, I would just let us know. But can we just assume that whatever insights you're getting, you're sharing with the group, so I don't have to keep asking.
At the moment, if I don't want to share it, I'll tell it.
Perfect. I'll go over to the bar and engage the barkeep and ask him. I need to get Mercer another one of his special drinks. What is it, anyways?
The barman looks at you. His name is Davos. He says, he's a strange one, isn't he? That fella. Haven't seen like of him before. Well, he asked me for ale, but then he said he wants it watered down. I've never watered down ale in my bloody life. But
I know.
he wants, and that's what he's paying for.
Well, next one's on me, and then I'll just put a coin down there and say, don't tell him though. He doesn't like other people being generous, and then I'll kind of walk away.
No, we can tell that. He's a mean old cuss, isn't he? Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. I'll go and tell the rest. Just sit with the rest of the group. I'd just like to, as nonchalantly as I can, just tell them what I said, tell them what I heard, and say, I mean, it goes without saying there's something up with this guy, but I almost wonder if he was sent here to kill Percival, if he was just trying to make it look like an accident at first, or there's no reason for him to be carrying that kind of an assassin's weapon and watering down his beer. I don't believe that he's representing himself correctly. I think maybe that poor boy was sent here to die.
Okay.
But it doesn't change the money.
No, says Grundar, and I'm thirsty. So
I'm still trying to figure out why somebody would water down their ale.
Yeah, that to you is probably like sacrilegious.
I think Grundar's reached for his warhammer and is already stomping over the mercy. You read words, young fella, my lad. So the evening begins to wear on. You folks can either retire to your private rooms, common room. I'm not going to worry about exactly what rooms you're sleeping in for the time being. Or you can stay up and try and engage Mercer in conversation. But you suspect that will be rather pointless.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to turn in.
Okay.
Me too, yeah, I'll turn in.
I would, I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse, pun intended, but I almost wanted to talk to the stable hand and see if they noticed anything strange about the horses.
Yeah, you
as
can do,
experts.
Yep.
Just because they're experts. I mean, I have animal handling and such, but you know, they know horses better than I do, I'm sure.
Okay, Frex, I mean, you can go outside again.
Yeah, I just can't shake it. Yeah, just to appease my nagging curiosity.
Okay, Frex, the stable boy sleeps up amongst the hay, the hair on. He's just cleaned off the last of the saddles, put down a light film of oil, and he's just yawning and about to go up the ladder up to the meagre room and chambers that he called home. Oh, he's probably about 13 or 14. And he turns as you come in, nods, and continues to climb up the ladder.
Can I speak with you for just a quick moment before you go to bed?
Certainly, Master. What can I do for you?
The fancy one that came in, he said his horse threw him. Do you know which horse I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, beautiful horse it is. Yes, it's that one over there. So that black beauty, lovely horse it is, lovely temperament.
Between me and you, and I'll give him a little coin. Anything about that horse that makes you think that maybe it was deliberately harmed in some way, or caused him to...
Deliberate, sir? Well, I don't really know, sir. Can you give me an insight roll, please, Rex? So that's a skill.
Oh,
You suspect that he knows a little bit than he's saying. He certainly looks a bit hesitant. He's a bit quick to say, oh no, this it's all nothing wrong at all.
I kind of hold my purse and say, this isn't bottomless. If I give you one more, you're not going to embarrass me, are you?
Well, look, and he looks around now. Funny thing was, there was that fine horse, lovely temperament. Can't see why it would ever throw somebody, not with just snow falling. I mean, look at it. It's a trained war horse, that thing. Not going to throw anybody. But anyway, I was taking the saddle off, you see, and the back underneath the saddle was all scarred. God knows what was there. It was all scarred. And then I found this. What do you make of that then, sir? And he hands over what looks like a small burr from a gorse bush. So there's a tiny little seed about the size of your thumbnail with lots of little tiny prickles underneath. And he says, that got underneath the horse's saddle, I reckon. That's why the poor old horse threw his rider. Obviously worked away into his skin, and after a while, painless so much, the horse just had enough and threw the rider off. Odd thing though. Don't find those done even know. Seed to me. Yeah. Seed, I reckon.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your help. And I give him another coin and take the burr from him if he lets me.
Yeah, he's not interested now. He bites into the silver. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, sweet dreams. And I walk out. I knew it.
Yawns and goes upstairs. Where dice rolls fail, money talks.
Right.
Right, so you join the others and you can fill them in. Some have gone up to their room. Some are thinking about going up to their rooms.
Yeah. Am I waiting for Frex to come back? Frex was up on the stables, wasn't it?
Who went to the room? Was it just Grundar?
And me. So it's Brian.
Okay. Let's go up. So as if we're all retiring, and let's, I'll knock on the doors and say loudly, not too loudly, but say, oh, let's have a talk about tomorrow, just a few minutes, and then we can all head to bed to each one of their doors and have them come into my room.
Okay.
Oh, Emma would really like to get into that room.
Yeah, unfortunate. But you can if you want, but you know who's
on the other side.
Moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. If everyone's amenable to gathering in the room, I'll tell them what the stable hand told me and reiterate that I'm pretty sure Mercer's here to assassinate this kid, and I don't know if he's going to make it through the night, or if they'll wait till we leave and then he'll have an accident. But it's neither here nor there to us. But we need to make a decision one way or the other. There is an assassin in our midst, whether it's for just Percival or who knows. So how do you think we should proceed? Should we ask Remo to join us? Should we keep him in the dark, or should we keep this to ourselves?
I reckon we should have a word with Mercer. Oh no, sorry, Friendlo.
See, but this is my question. Thronlo does seem to be humoring Percival, but I don't know if he's humoring him in a good-natured way, the way like a sycophant kind of does to someone in a higher position that they work for, sort of a tongue-in-cheek, oh yes, everything's great, or if he actually means him ill. But if he is who he says he is, anything that happens to him and his charge would probably reflect really poorly on him. So he would stand to get into trouble. And he did say he didn't really know Mercer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right. As far as you can tell from the story, Percival knows Threnlo quite well. And he's already told you that Threnlo was quite insistent that he'd come along because of his, he knows Percival and particularly Cordelia. So Cordelia is a few years older than Percival. Sorry, a few years younger than Percival. Mercer, on the other hand, is someone his father knows, and his father was insistent that Mercer.
So, what do you think? I think we should maybe let Threnlo know.
I do too, and I wonder if the father's involved. If the father maybe wants to do ill with Percival.
I don't know why you would send a rabid dog with your son unless you want to see him get bit. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to go talk to him quickly, or I don't know if he'll be comfortable coming into a room with all of us?
Well, he'll be travelling with us, so I can't see reason why
That's
not.
true. Okay, I'll go and knock on Fenlo's door and ask him if he has a moment to join us.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Okay. Threnlo nods. You can see that Threnlo, as you knock on Frex, Threnlo is sitting on the bed, looking at something. You can see he's now got rid of his outer jacket, has got rid of his weapons belt, for example. Clearly, he'd been in the process of just laying out the equipment that he wants for the following day. Give me a quick perception roll, Frex. As you walk in, Threnlo's got his back to you and he's looking at,
Thank God.
He's got a locket, which he's looking at. And as you come in, he quickly snaps it shut and puts it back in his tunic and turns to face you.
Is that Cordelia?
I think it might be.
You couldn't see.
I'll ask him.
See. You're going to ask him.
Yeah. I can't help myself.
When he looks, he says, "Don't be so bloody daft." Of course it's not. That's not Lady Cordelia. Give me an insight roll.
Ooh,
Now you see you're pulling those dice off.
Excellent.
Yeah, he probably is Cordelia.
Okay, I'm not going to push him. That helps me a lot in this decision that we've made. I'll tell him we have something that you need to see, and we need to try to keep this away from Mercer, if possible, if you don't mind.
He's a dark one, that fella. Presumably you want to plan tomorrow. Yep. Well, I'll meet you in your room in a couple of minutes. Where are you? And you can tell him.
I can tell him.
Yeah.
And I'll reiterate to him, it's more important than you may think that we speak to you as soon as possible. So if you could use a little bit of haste, I think you'll appreciate it.
Right. I'll come along now then. Come on then. Let's just get this jarring finished with, and then we can all get to sleep. We can rescue Lady Cordelia and hand over that. Come on then, Master. Let's go. So you take Threnlo to your room, which is probably a little bit crowded. But
Emma has slipped out.
oh, Emma slipped out again.
Damn it, Emma.
Emma wants to get in Threnlo's room.
Okay. Okay. Right. So Threnlo steps in, and he didn't lock his door, Emma. So you can search through his belongings as much as you want.
Okay.
Right. I'll handle that in a minute. The rest of it. What time are we leaving then? I suggest we go first thing in the morning. Breakfast first.
I'll shut the door, and then I'll tell him, look, when you first got here, everyone was expressing concern as to why a trained, battle-hardened horse would throw its rider unexpectedly. And then I'll show him the burr, and I'll tell him what the stable hand told me, that had been deliberately put under the saddle for quite a long time, that it was only a matter of time before it got to a point where it was so agitated that it would throw the rider. So I don't think I have to tell you that this is intentional, and we're trusting that it wasn't your doing, which only leaves one possibility.
He looks at it and frowns and says, "You've been right busy, haven't you, Master?" He presses on it and says, it's a bit sharp, that. That'll do some damage to a horse if that's underneath the saddle, I imagine.
Also, I don't know if you're aware of it, but Mercer's carrying an assassin's crossbow.
You've got bloody long nose, haven't you, Master? Look, I don't know much about Mercer's background, but I know he came with the express wishes of Lord Montacure himself, and that's all right by me. If Lord Montacure vouches for him, then that's all right. But and he fingers the bird and says, "Well, that's a bit disturbing, isn't it? And crossbow. Well, look," and he scratches his nose. "We've seen a number of men with crossbow, hand crossbows too. Useful weapon, just not one I'd use. Bit unreliable. Don't do much damage neither. Wouldn't stop a pig at 50 yards. One of them.
Sure. Well, it's not for damage; it's for poison.
No, we see, sir. We're a bit of an expert, are we? All right. Well, it's not one that I'd use. All I can say is, he vouched for Mercer. Now, on the road here, yeah, dark he was, wouldn't talk much, but reliable.
Mm-hmm.
You find it hard to believe that he's involved, but like you said, that Bert obviously caused Master to be thrown. But why, sir? Why? We're here to rescue Lady Cordelia. Why would it benefit anybody to get Lord Montague hurt, sir?
If you don't know, then we sure as hell don't. I didn't know what the relationship is between your lord and Percival. I don't know if there's some reason why he would want him out of his way, but honestly, we're not being paid to know that. We're just vetting the situation. We don't like to go in blind. We like to know what's going on, so we don't, so we can survive.
Brenlo lets out a deep sigh and says, look, sir, you've seen... Sir, he's not, shall we say, worldly wise, is he? He's what's the saying, sir? One sniff at a barmaid's apron and he falls flat on his face. He doesn't get out very much. And well, you see, sir, I think Lord Montague wanted me to keep an eye on him, and we're kind of hoping could use this terrible situation and blood young Percival, if you know what I mean. So that's why I'm here, and he taps where his dagger would be, but it's not there. And I suspect that's why Mercer's. I can't quite see why anybody would want the young Lord hurt.
Sure. Well, honestly, this is something that we discovered. Now it's not. I don't feel like it's connected to this mission in any way. We just thought it was a common courtesy since we technically are working for you. But we may come back successful, but for all you know, the young lord may not be above ground.
His eyes widen.
Good night, then.
Sweet dreams. So he looks at you, his eyes wide. He says, so are you suggesting Mercer's going to do away with Percival?
I assume that if the subtle accident, and I put inverted commas, quotes, or whatever you want to call it, the accident didn't take care of him, that he probably won't stop there. But again, we could be completely wrong.
He frowns.
I don't think anyone in this room trusts him.
He looks a bit... Well, he obviously looks worried. He says, well, look, sir, frankly, I'm not much of a thinker, so you've done a fair amount of detectivation here. What do you think we should do then?
I think you should, at the very least, I think we should stick with the mission. I think that you might want to stick around and look after Percival, and we can probably handle this by ourselves. I know you may have a vested interest in seeing her come back, but if we're paid to do the job, we'll do the best we can. Okay. But I think if
Mercer immediately begins to shake his head when you suggest not go, and he looks a little bit unsettled when you mention vested interest, and says, no, I've got to go. Lady Cordelia is very important to you, as are all his children, mind, as are they all.
Sure.
I can't help but think that as long as Percival stays here in the inn, where there's lots of people around, he should be fine. I mean, there's witnesses, aren't there?
Sure.
I mean, if Mercer was an assassin, he'd be a fool to kill him when he's the only person here, right? And he frowns, and as you can see, as his thoughts and strategy begins to coalesce, it's like watching battleships turn at the Atlantic as thoughts begin to come together. And then Threnlo nods and says, yeah, I reckon he'll be fine if he stays here. And if we're quick and snappish, we can go and get Lady Cordelia, be back here before Mercer, if it is Mercer, plans or plots anything.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Right. Mercer pauses and then says, sorry, Threnlo pauses and says, so is that it, sir?
That's it. We'll have a sleep, wake up, break our fast, and then head out. First light.
Okay. So he retreats to his room. In the interim, Emma, getting into Threnlow's room easy because it's not locked.
Mm-hmm.
You can search through the saddlebags. You can search through the rest of his belongings. His pack has also been brought up from the stables. It consists of little more than sort of a large knapsack. Give me a perception roll first of all.
Yep. Come on.
So as you scan the belongings, the saddlebags you've already looked at,
Oh, I
and the
want to.
backpack.
Can I use my inspiration to re-roll?
Yes, you can.
Yep. Perception.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, using inspiration is cursed tonight. I think sometimes
Yeah, that's
the same.
This is great.
Uninspired. Excuse me. So yeah, looking at the saddlebags and panniers very quickly, they're obviously serviceable, worn but not uncared for. You've already gone through the saddlebags. Threnlow has a change of clothes, packed down tight. Right against the bottom is a wickedly sharp-looking dagger. The dagger is actually more finely made than probably the rest of Threnlow's possessions. You can see he's also got a broadsword, which has been oiled and cleaned and rested on the bed. The broadsword you think is probably military issue, so Threnlow was probably once a soldier. It's well cared for. The handle is serviceable and well made, and you can even see that Threnlow has gone to the trouble of wrapping not only leather, shark skin around the handle to give it just that extra grip. So Threnlow is probably somebody who knows his way around the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a soldier. He's not too much of a strategist.
The backpack contains some food, some travel rations, a small section of rope, tinderbox, oil, and everything else that you'd expect from some sort of soldier who's probably out travelling and escorting his master. In truth, his contents of his backpack are almost identical to yours.
yeah. Oh, Emma takes the nice-looking little dagger.
You're going to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she quickly leaves the room and goes to her companions.
Okay. You probably come in just as Threnlow nods at you and heads off to his room. The rest of you exchange stories. Emma, do you want to indicate the fact or reveal the fact that you just lifted a rather nice looking dagger from Threnlow's backpack? Or do you want to keep that secret? Or from one of his saddlebags? Sorry, do you want to keep that secret?
No, I'll tell them.
Okay. Emma, with a grin, says, "Look what I got."
Yeah.
Emma, he's gonna know you took it.
Yeah, Emma, why?
Because, I mean,
And she shrugs and says, "Because it was there."
All right, but don't be surprised when he comes in. Probably gonna have to give it back. We technically work for him, at least for the next couple of days.
oh, she'll
Yeah, you need to
hide
put
it.
that back.
Yeah, not immediately.
So wait and see if it gets noticed or not.
It's going to be my precious, and I will love it the rest of my life.
Maybe he'll roll ones on his perception check. You won't know it's.
Well, he will if he tries to use his inspiration. That's first, I reckon. Okay,
All right, well-
let me just... Yeah, carry on.
I think we did a pretty good job of researching what's going on. We can just go ahead and go to sleep and get ready for tomorrow.
Can I ask that we put a guard out on what's his name? Percival's door. take shifts?
You can do, yeah.
What do you guys think?
Rogden's gonna go back downstairs and get some more ale anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's fine.
I could do some more ale.
Okay. So Rogdan, presumably Grundar will join in as well. He's never hesitated.
Actually, I will be turning in.
And the world stops spinning.
Yeah.
Rogdan and Brian then can go downstairs. Grundar just says, enough, bad beer is bad beer. Doesn't matter how much you drink. And he goes off to his room. Rogdan and Brian can go downstairs. Frex and Emma, what do you wish to do?
I think I'll turn in as well.
Okay, so Frex turns in, Grundar turns in. Emma, what do you...
Well, I have a quick talk with Grundar, who's going downstairs, and I tell him, look, why don't you create some kind of a little distraction while I'm going behind, at the moment when I'm behind Mercer. So I'll try to, search his pockets and see if I can find anything suspicious.
Okay, so Rogdan, so you're convinced Grundar's gone hired for the... Brian and Rogdan have gone downstairs, so you're suggesting Rogdan try and distract Mercer while you pick Mercer's pocket.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not a good idea.
I'm already hurting.
I'll only do it when the distraction works.
Okay, Rogdan, do you wish to try and distract Mercer?
Oh,
Mercer
yeah. For an arm wrestling match.
Okay, so Mercer is just tapping his pipe out. You can see he's obviously had some cheese and some apples, and he's got what looks like a set of dice in front of him that he's just flicking around with his fingers. He's obviously had a few games, solo dice games on his own, and as you walk over, he looks up and says, "Hello, big fella, what can I do?" And he pushes the dice over with his hand. Fancy a go? Copper a throw?
Oh yeah. I'm all in.
Good, Bester. And he leans over and says, "So what's your choice? Sixes then? I've always played sixes. Sixes is a good game for gambling men."
I'm more of a zebra.
Zebra. I've never heard of that game, friend. Zebra then.
11s.
11s. Okay. Well, the dice are yours. You show me how to play. Right, is this a game that you're making up, can't possibly win, or is this an actual game that you're now going to play with him?
Same as craps.
Okay. So you pick up the dice and you roll, and then the dice change hands and money changes hands. Give me a performance roll. Yeah, I know. Plus zero. My eyes hit that immediately. Okay. So Mercer carries on, and after a while, and Emma, you lurk around. Mercer looks up at you. "Hello, miss. I'm sure you've been quite busy this evening. Don't mind me. I'm playing dice with your friend here. Distracted, if you don't mind me saying. Big fella, what did you say your name was? I didn't quite catch it."
Rogdan.
Rogdan, eh? Right. Well, Rogdan, and he takes the dice and throws it. This evening, I think I might be retiring to bed early. And then he looks up at you, Emma, and he smiles at you. And he says, "Evening, miss. Mind what I said earlier on those stairs, won't you?" And he looks at you and he says, "A little bit young to be losing one of your hands, I reckon." And he claps you on the back, Rogdan, and says, "That was a good game, big fella. Look after my master, won't you?" And he goes up to his room. Do you want to try and pick his pocket as you pass, Emma?
Do it.
You've got no inspiration left.
No, you don't have to do it. Don't do it. I don't want to get you killed in the first session.
So it would be
we suppose he's the bad guy. So if we provoke him to a fight, our problems are solved, aren't they?
He's a bad guy. I don't
think
know if he's
useful.
a bad guy, but he is a bad guy for sure.
I'll try to pick his pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's pickpocket.
Good
All
luck.
right. Sleight of hand then.
Yep.
So as he walks past, you try and dip a hand into where he's got what looks like a pouch that's hanging off his belt, just to see what does a man like Mercer carry.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, so that's going to be opposed by his perception. So let me just call up Mercer.
Give him the Frex dice.
Yeah. There you go. So you dip your hand into his pocket, and he actually your hand darts in and comes out with what feels like a couple of coins, and what's more interesting, a small velvet bag that was inside the pouch. Mercer just walks past you and heads upstairs.
Ooh, well done.
Well done.
Okay, so
So inside the bag, you can open it down. The coins that you've lifted are 2 gold coins. And inside the velvet bag, you can see there's a ring. And the ring is actually just a plain iron ring. Rather disappointing, I suppose.
okay.
Then something tweaks the back of your memory. You've been around cities and you've travelled, even though you're quite young, you've travelled quite a bit. Give me a history roll, please, if you can.
Yeah.
Ooh, good.
Right. You know that amongst the nobility of some of the cities and towns, it is customary to show your friendship with each other and with others by the exchanging of or the giving of rings. So some of the more ostentatious and boastful people will have a little bowl inside their rooms or in wherever they're staying, and they will proudly display all of the rings that they've been given by the wealthy and powerful to denote their friendship and patronage. And the rings vary according to status. So a gold ring would indicate really trusted status. A silver ring would a silver ring would mean, well, yes, you can call on me any time unless I'm busy. Something like a copper ring might be, well, look, as long as I'm busy, you'll be admitted and you can ask for an audience. An iron ring is most unusual because it denotes a deep friendship. So an iron ring is, we've been through the forge together. We have fought side by side. We've been through terrible danger and peril. We've done great things together. You can always call on me because I know I can always call on you. So Mercer has a very, very deep and important friendship with somebody very important.
But it isn't necessarily the father of Percival.
No, you don't know. No.
Okay.
There's no way of knowing. The owner would probably know there are some marks on it, but they're just decoration. There's no runes or writing.
Okay. So is everybody asleep or yeah?
I think
No, I'm not.
Sorry.
I'm here. No, for what it's worth. Sorry. For what it's worth, I think it could be a friendship with the Lord, and he might not be that bad. I mean, who knows?
Or he might be connected with the arrival of Percival Harder.
Possible, yeah, possible.
Yeah.
You simply don't know.
No.
So, with lots of thoughts and the machinations of various noble houses and secretive assassins groups playing through your minds, all of you finally settle down for the evening in the inn. The snow continues to howl against the shutters. From time to time, a cold draft works its way underneath the doors. But all in all of you pass the evening uneventfully and restfully. Brian, were you did you organise a guard for Percival's room?
Yeah. If probably me, if no one else would want to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking we could even do 2 hours. I mean,
That's
not
Me too.
Okay.
that bad of
So
an
you organise a
interruption.
rota, worried about what the burr underneath the saddle means, concerned that clearly Mercer is more than just a simple soldier. So you keep watch on Percival's room, but nothing untoward happens. Neither Mercer nor Threnlow stir from their rooms at all. Mercer's light is quickly extinguished. Percival's is out when you start your vigil. Threnlow stays up later than most, but after a few hours, and for just about as the first watch is exchanged for the second, Threnlow extinguishes his candle as well. So in the morning, with Percival still asleep, you head downstairs with your belongings. Mercer is there eating breakfast. Threnlow has just finished breakfast and is waiting impatiently, I suppose, ready for the off. Right, says, horses are all ready to go. They've all been saddled. I can take it you can all ride. And he looks at you, Grundar.
I can ride.
You can ride, are we, Grundar? That's excellent, that is. Right then, see you later, Mercer. Let's go then, fellas. And Threnlow heads out the door towards the horses. Obviously, Mercer nods but says nothing. And as Threnlow clears the inn, he says, "My God, that fella's a miserable bugger. It's like having your own little black cloud follow you all the time." Right, let's go. And you head off towards the asylum. The journey, certainly via horse through the asylum, is relatively uneventful. All of you demonstrate a mixed affinity with the mounts you've got. The horses haven't been chosen for their comfort, for their speed, but they're certainly up the short journey. And just as evening begins to fall, you get to within sight of the monastery itself. Beacon Hill is a broad and imposing hill, flat-topped, fortunately, for the builders of the hospital, set amongst tangled oak trees and ash. The boughs of the ash and oak trees are now heavy with snow, and the snow is just beginning to drift down from the darkening skies above. Not a snowstorm, but certainly there'll be another sprinkling as you head into what is clearly a ruined building. You can see that the house, like many of the noble houses seen in some of the big towns, has two distinct wings, an east and a west. There are a broad set of steps that lead up onto a snow-covered entranceway. Two imposing statues stand on either side of the asylum. A mist is beginning to descend because of air as well. The stone walls are covered with ivy, which is clinging to the snow and clinging to a few icicles which hang from some of the protruding beams. The upper floor of the mansion has long gone. Beams are visible in some places, like ribs of some great beast. Windows, however, of the lower floor seem intact. Across to your right, you can see a large, tall flint stone tower which still stands erect and intact. Some sort of small corridor building has been constructed at some point to connect the ancient tower to the rest of the asylum. The stone steps that greet you are weathered and pitted, but they lead up to a set of double doors. The doors look heavy and are clearly closed. They're flanked by 2 8-foot-tall statues of muscular-looking men. Can you all give me perception rolls, please? The wind howls across the hill through the snow, drifting the snow against some of the tree stumps.
Oh,
Can't win them all, Emma.
Frex, you can hear what you think is the clank of something metal falling to the floor from within the old asylum. And you thought you caught a glimpse of light moving past one of the windows. There's a window across to your right, just there.
Okay, I relay that to them.
What do you wish to do?
Should we investigate it?
Yeah, let's move up to the doors.
All right. Threnlo whispers to you.
Yeah.
I'll tie them up to some trees. If you can wait by the doors, then I'll go silently now. Right, I'll be back in a minute. And he takes your horses and takes them over to some trees near one of the wings of the house.
Okay, I guess. Emma, do you want to stealth in, or do you want one of us to go?
Oh, I think I'll first go for the statues and see if anything's wrong or amiss with them.
Okay. So Emma, if you want to move your token, so you should all
Yeah.
see some tokens on that map. If you map over them,
2, 3.
scroll in and out, if you want to get a closer look at them. I've used these top-down tokens for years. If you prefer a different style with portraits, that's entirely up to you.
I like these.
No,
It's it's up to you.
these are great.
Okay. So Emma, I know this is a bit of a plug for a friend of mine. They're all made by a guy called Devon Knight, who his prices have doubled since I first used him. He now charges the princely sum of $5 for a custom token. Back in the day, it was only $2. But if you actually send him a description of your character and some other details, he'll make you a top-down token like those. I think he charges $4 or $5 now.
That's pretty cool.
Which is nice, because you'll get your own token that you can use in whatever games you wish.
Okay.
Okay, so Emma, you sneak across, or rather, you make your way up the stairs and across to the statues. As far as you can tell, there are no lights on the windows that you can see. If I just indicate those so you get used to sort of the map icon. So there's a couple of windows there.
Yep.
You can see. And there are no lights coming from inside. The hairs on the back of your neck just begin to tingle slightly with the 2 statues and the very Gothic, imposing nature of this edifice. You get a slight sense of unease that's palpable, and you feel a great sadness as you get up to the top of the steps. This poor old building, with its bleak and rather dark history, has been left unloved for many, many, many years. And that seems to be dripping off the stones in front of you. The statues to the left and to the right of muscular men in their prime, striking what are probably athletic poses, rather than being proud, looks slightly embarrassed and sad to be still standing in front of this hovel that is all that's left of the rather grand home that they used to adorn. Right, do you want to check the statues?
I think so.
Right, Emma, give me a perception roll as you approach first, and then engage.
Yep.
So you're checking to see if the statues are trapped in any way or hollow from a distance.
Yeah, see if there's any trap or any dangerous thing about them.
They both look fine. Give me an investigate, just to make absolutely no trap mechanism, warning, or anything else. So you feel, getting your hands amongst the snow and just feel around the statues, tap on the statues. No, as far as you can tell, they're solid stone, very expensive, weathered now and worn, but they've been left undamaged over the years by the elements.
Okay.
And so on. Frenlo rejoins you, and Paul is going to let this guy take the lead. So the doors, the double doors stand in front of Emma. The windows are intact, but the whole mansion, the whole asylum is quiet and dark and sleep.
Okay, I mentioned to the others that it's safe to come up the stairs, and we all gather around the doors.
Okay. You folks want to move your tokens up to the doors?
Unless anybody wants to check through the windows if they can see anything.
I'd like to look through the window that I saw. I think that was over here.
Okay, Frex, give me a make your way over to the window.
Yes.
Let me just clear all that stuff. Okay, give me a perception. Peering through the dark. Very difficult to tell. Oops, let me just open up the... So looking in through the window, you can see a little way into the window. You can see just to the left and to the right of the window what bookcases. Could well be that the room that you're looking at study, but there's no light in there now. And with the evening getting on, and unfortunately it's quite cloudy, so there's not even any starlight to see by. Can't really see much at all. At some point you're possibly going to have to start lighting torches and so on.
Okay, I think, Rogdan, do you have dark vision?
I have dark vision. A lot of us have dark vision, I think.
So the Dragonborn doesn't.
Doesn't, okay.
Frex, you do. Grundar the dwarf obviously does.
Emma does.
Emma does. And Brian doesn't. So it's Brian and Rogdan that will need a torch if they're going to do anything.
Will that inhibit our dark vision? Would we just kind of switch over to normal?
Yeah.
Okay. Just for my edification. Okay, then I think we can choose to move in any, if we're using torchlight, we can choose to move in any formation we want. I'd like to hang back a little bit for the range.
Okay.
Frenlo
is happy to carry the stair at the back.
Okay.
Emma suggests that all the guys or everybody with dark vision comes to the door, and when she tries to open the door, they have a peek inside before the others come and join us.
Before we light the torch, that's a good idea.
Yeah, with our dark vision we can see something.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. Emma, you open the doors and you see that those of you that are gathered entrance hallway. Ceiling above has largely collapsed, so there's snow that's drifting in from above. But there are 3 doors, 2 single doors, one to the left, one to the right, and some double doors opposite you. There's some smashed statuary over in the 2 far corners of the room. Given the fact that these statues are covered with snow, they were obviously smashed some time ago rather than recent. Can't see any footsteps in the patches of snow that you can see, but you can make out that this floor was marble. So this was probably perhaps once quite an elaborate entranceway.
Okay, what shall we do?
So we've got doors to the
Left,
east
right,
and west,
front.
respectively, and then
Double doors ahead of you.
do you want to move in a clockwise pattern so we don't leave any uncovered sort of things behind us?
Yeah.
Sorry, can we go counterclockwise? Because then we're going to get the west door. Sorry, the east door. I'm getting my directions right. Where the light possibly was.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. So if you want to move your tokens and head across. Okay, so you make your way through the snow. Frenlo is quite happy to light a torch and to hang at the back with the torch, throwing out some light.
Good man, Fenlo.
Okay. Single door opposite you is wooden, squared, not arched, well made, stout, but it's clearly been damaged at some point by the rain and so on. You can see one of the timbers has warped and just leant away from the door slightly. So it'll probably need a little bit of force to open, which will make some noise.
I'm sure whatever's here knows we're here. I don't know. Rogda, probably, are you the strongest amongst us?
I can open it.
Can you beat my mighty 10?
Yeah, Emma moves a bit closer as well. And she goes into hiding. Can't you do that?
You can hide, yes. There's enough shadows to where you want to hide. Threnlo will stay at the back because he can see that you're trying to hide. In fact, he will take the shadow, he'll take the candle or the torch out. So there is some shadow there. So Emma, you can step just to the side of the door and duck down.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's anything in there, I'll get it to make a perception roll, and it will be against your hide, and I'll ask you to make a hide if it's needed. Okay. Well, opening the room reveals the study that you expected. There doesn't seem to be anything in. You can see that there are some cases toppled over. There were probably once some rather expensive desks and lamps in here, but they've also been smashed. It looks like deliberately so. There doesn't seem to be anything moving around in the room at all.
Any trace of footsteps or disturbances?
Give me a
Dust or
perception roll,
something?
please, Emma.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like anybody's disturbed this. You can see there is, in fact, though, there is a hole, a low hole in the brickwork of the wall over here. Far too small for anybody diminutive and slender size to squeeze through, but certainly there's a hole there. And towards one corner of the room, you can see that some bookcases have toppled together, and there is some squeaking coming from underneath the books. It goes quiet as Threnlo's torchlight just bobs slightly into the room. You suspect there's some animals have made a lair underneath the case.
Does the squeaking sound like rats, does it, or something bigger?
Sounds like rats, but louder than you'd expect small rats to make, so large rats. or larger than the domestic ones that you're used to seeing.
I wonder what that light was, though. That's what was so strange.
Yeah.
So, do the frontline fighters want to go through? Do we want stealth to go through first? Just so we establish how we want to handle rooms going from here on out. Stealth through? Okay.
I'll stealth through.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, where next? Do you want to go into the room or?
Rogden will stealth into the room.
Okay, Rogden, give me a stealth roll, please. Okay. And move yourself where you want to go to. Okay. Rogdan, give me a perception roll, please. Make your way carefully into the room and look around.
Oh.
Yeah, there is definitely something that made a nest underneath those bookcases. Sounds, well, for want of a better word, ratish, but you're not sure exactly what they are. The bookcases that are still intact in the room have long since been emptied, unfortunately. And certainly as Threnlo comes a little bit closer with the torch that you can see by, sadly, there's no books, scrolls or anything of that sort here. The ceiling above is also obviously slightly damaged again. So probably damp has got in and helped rot everything. Doesn't seem to be anything of any value in it.
Do you want to just close it behind us, or do you want to, or should we?
No, I think we should investigate that hole and find out about that animal there.
Okay, I'm going to switch to my short sword because hanging in the back is making me a little nutty. And I guess I could just attempt to stealth in there as well. I don't know if there's any point to it. If they're animals, they know we're there, so maybe I'll just walk in.
Okay, move your token then, please, Frex.
Just need to move in and to the back here just in case they need to charge it.
Okay, so Frex takes position by the door, probably ready to go, in case. Grundar marches right up to the rat's nest and says, well, what's going on here then?
Come at me, rats.
Okay, Grundar, so you approach the rat's nest. You know, you can clearly hear the rats, and there's obviously a swarm of rats inside there. As you approach a little bit closer, Grundar, they hiss angrily at you, obviously warning you to back away. This is their nest, their territory.
What was that like?
Do I see any of them, or do I just hear their noises?
You can hear the noises. If you peer down, Grundle, give me a perception roll. Oh, you have. Grundle, yes, you peer down. Yeah, you can see that there's a swarm of rats in there.
I'm fine leaving them alone. I mean, they don't seem to be wishing us too much ill because we've entered their territory, warning us, so I'm fine shutting that door as best we can and continuing on.
Does the bookcase look recently knocked over, or has it been sitting there for some time?
It's been sitting there for some time, and the rats have probably been using this for quite...
We could always come back here. I suppose the important thing is to make sure the whole building's safe.
Yeah. I almost feel like we should go to the door to the west and clear that before we go through the double doors.
I think Emma would like to have a peep in that hole, that small hole, and see what she can discover by looking through it. And she avoids the bookcase and the rats.
Okay. Emma, so if you move your crawl through, But Emma, you've got dark vision.
Yep.
So, Emma, you make your way over to the hole, and you peer through. If I can set them up again. So, peering through, you can see what looks like a corridor. There is a worn, moth-eaten, rather smelly carpet on the other side on the flagstone floor. The floor of this library area, again, probably cost a fortune at some point. Not too far away from the hole in the wall, you can see a door. But the door is shut, unfortunately. Give me a perception roll, please, Emma.
Oh, God.
At least it wasn't a crit foul.
Right, Emma, you can re-roll that.
Oh, yeah. I
Hold
got
on to inspiration.
Okay, I'll re-roll that.
Yeah, why not?
Good luck.
I love this because I've been playing a Savage Worlds game for 2 years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know how I was going to live without Benny's.
Oh, yeah, Benny's. Well, I think Benny's in Savage Worlds. Benny's what makes the system come alive. I don't play too much Savage Worlds, but whenever I do, I really... yeah, Emma, so pausing and just listening carefully, you can hear from beyond that door, you can hear some voices, human voices, what looks like the clank of something metal again, a little bit of laughter, and then silence. But there are human voices on the other side of the door, some way off, but human voices.
I know we're first level, but do any of the clerics have any sort of sense of undead yet, or not quite?
No, we don't really do that.
Okay.
So, but the voices are definitely coming from behind that door, not from...
Yeah, no, the voices are coming that direction-ish.
Yeah.
I'll move over here. That's all right. And in anticipation of us opening that door.
Oh, but we have to go to the other doors to do that, I think, because there's no doors in this room.
Oh, there's no door there.
And we can't pass through the hole.
Gotcha.
Small.
Yeah.
Should we clear the western door first before we go through the double?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make my way out, and then I can go through and open this door once everybody's out of that room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emma goes into hiding again.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll do, Emma, is I'll get something called the dice tower ready for the next session, and you can make rolls in there. I'll ask you to make hide rolls if and when it's appropriate, and they'll be opposed by the creature's perception roll.
Yeah.
Okay, you get close to the door. There is light coming from underneath the doorway as you approach, quite visibly so.
Okay, then I'll pull back, and then I'll ask if is that Gondar? If he could open the door for me.
I will open the door.
Okay. Door opens fairly easily. This room, sitting room, is quite well lit. You can see that a fire on the far side of the room has been used recently because the room smells faintly burning timber. And with their back to you, you can see there are two men in robes that are kneeling down trying to get the fire lit again. As you open the door, they both turn round and both begin to rise to their feet. Can you give me some initiative rolls, please? So on your character sheet, if you can remember, on the front page, there's something that says init. Grab that, toss that into the window, and the combat tracker will automatically register your initiatives are. I will now roll their initiatives and beat you and fail totally. This is not looking good for me. As I look at their hit points compared to you, this could be over very quickly. Okay, Robdan, you are to go first, please.
Lovely.
So, trying to tell by these squares, how far away are they?
So if you draw, if you open up the trackers and draw an arrow, that will give you the distance. So they are about 15 feet away. So whenever you put down an arrow on the map, it will give you distance. And Fantasy Grounds will automatically also calculate when you target something. It will calculate whether you're within range missile weapons.
Oh, cool.
So how do you do that?
The arrow.
thing?
So if you right click, that calls up a radial menu.
Yeah.
And one of them says pointers. So left click on pointers. That opens up another set of icons. Cone, circle, square, arrow. Select, left click, arrow, and then have a play. 1, 2, 5, 6. Yes, good.
All right, so this goes into a problem with my character. Right now, I don't have my breath weapon available.
Okay, so is that an then? Because in which case, right, I can create that effect, but not right now. So I can set up you have that effect you have. Do you want to just attack with your battle axe for today?
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Right. So if you control left click on whoever you want to, there you go, you're all set. And I'll make sure that you're set up to do your breath attack next time. Right, that's a hit. These guys will collapse like cards. Oh, maybe not. Right, so that one is still standing, but heavily damaged and wishes he'd not got out of bed. Right, Emma, it's your turn.
So can I sneak? I was hidden. No.
With the torchlight and everything from Threnlo,
Yeah.
you can make a hide roll, but at a disadvantage.
Oh, but I can get a sneak attack anyway, can't I? Because Rogdan is near them.
Yeah, so if you move up to Cultist 1, you'll get your sneak attack anyway. Probably no need to do that. So, Emma, if you want to move your token,
Yeah.
you can do
which one did he
one or
attack?
two, actually.
Cultist 1?
Yeah, 1 or 2, doesn't matter, because Robdan was in with 5 feet of both of them. Swinging a great big battle axe at them.
So I go to Cultist 1 and use my rapier.
Okay. So what you'll do is you'll control left click on Cultist number 1 to select it.
Control left click.
There you go. See, he's now targeted, and now just roll your...
My rapier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Still a hit. These guys are only wearing robe.
Okay, so attack, how do I do that?
You should have actually got an advantage dice roll because of attacking as you are. So roll that again. But if you look down just underneath your chat window, can you see there's 6 brown buttons saying ADV, dis, +2, -2, +5, -5. If you left click on ADV, it should go a deep red colour.
Yeah.
Now make that attack roll again. This will give you advantage, so you will effectively roll 2d20, and you'll take the highest of the 2. And this will give you advantage, obviously, the critical. So click ADV, make your rapier attack again, please.
Yeah.
And let's just see if you get a critical. So it rolled 2. Right. You can see the dice goes green.
That's nice.
Selected the highest, so you know that you rolled with advantage. Right, we're going to take that 7 anyway, so now just roll your damage.
Okay.
Go across.
And the damage, how do I roll that?
So on your character sheet, you've probably rolled from actions, where it says rapier. Next to it, there's a text which says 1 piercing.
Yeah.
Drop that in the chat window, and that should roll your die.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice shot.
Oh,
So I will
Well
now
done.
delete it.
Oh,
And you didn't actually get critical damage. So to do your critical damage, you basically create an effect which you drop on yourself. But I will set that up for you in the next few minutes, and I'll try and do your breath weapon. You didn't actually manage to get your sneak attack damage going off, not that you needed it. Frex, it is your turn.
oh.
That's a miss.
That is definitely a miss.
Okay, so Brian, it's your turn.
okay. So can I use my crossbow on him?
Yes, you can. And again, yes, off you go. Actually, Frex, I think you get advantage as well. That again. Actually,
Okay.
Frex, make your attack roll again, and then Brian, you make a roll. So that's. Let me just drag that across and see if it hits him. No, that's still a miss. Okay,
Right.
so Brian, it's your crossbow attacks. Just click that ADV button just below, and that will give you the advantage on the attack.
Right. Okay. So I'm trying to. Do you right click on the cultist?
Control left
Control
click on
left.
the cultist.
All right. Got you.
That's it, you've got him targeted. Now, if you left click on the ADV button, it will be red. Means you'll now roll 2d20 when you make your crossbow attack. There you go.
Lovely.
And that's a hit. And now just roll your damage.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh my god. Almost gone. They may not get a chance to say, we only work here. Grundar, it's your turn to heal them, he says, hopefully, or to finish them off.
Finish them off.
All right, now remember, you get advantage on this as okay, but that was a hit anyway. Goodness me. Right, dead.
Well done.
And Threnlo says, bloody impressive, that. Well done, lad.
I have a question. What was causing us to have advantage there?
Because if you attack, as long as I've got 5th edition rule correct, so if you make an attack and the person you're attacking is already within 5 feet of somebody else, i.e. who is threatening him, then you get an advantage to your attack roll.
Okay.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I think that's the case anyway. I'm double
There's
checking.
the thief still gets their sneak attack, but I don't think it's actually at advantage.
Yeah, because you could, or that might be flank attack. I'll double check the rule in a minute.
No big deal. I was wondering.
Yeah,
no,
I
either
think
way
that
they were
from-
surprised. So I mean, you could be correct, but either way they're surprised. So I don't mind you killing them with ease. So inside the room there were 2 cultists. Both of them were trying to get that fire lit again. You killed them so quickly that they didn't have a chance to shout for help. Both of them slumped to the ground. The cultists are wearing what look like tattered robes. Curiously, each of them has at their side on a crude rope belt what looks like a black iron bell. The robes that they are wearing are a very faded and rather dirty mottled yellow colour. In addition to slightly curved daggers and knives that they carried, which they didn't really get a chance to draw, apart from the iron bell that both are carrying, they don't seem to have anything else on them.
Emma takes one of the ropes and the belt in case might be useful to disguise or deception or something.
Okay.
I'll
Yep.
try to retrieve some of my errant arrows.
Yeah, I sort of use, you can retrieve half rounded down, so if you fired 1, that's 0, but if you fired 2 or 3 in combat, you can have a couple back.
Okay. I think I only shot 1, but
Yeah.
with advantage. Okay, do you want to, shall we search the room?
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder why they're so keen on starting this fire.
Could there
Maybe
be?
it was just for
they're
warmth.
cold?
Yeah, but I was just wondering if maybe, I don't know, maybe starting the fire there opens another passage or something.
Okay, give me. So if you're when you search a room, you can either use an investigate action, which is giving it a really close look, tapping on the walls, lifting up rugs, looking behind books, and so on. Or you can make a perception roll, which is very much a glance around the room, a quick look. What do I see? Obviously, perception rolls are going to be quick. Investigation is going to take you a little bit. You can make whatever rolls you want. It's going to affect how long you spend.
I'm changing my dice color again.
So,
Frex, you've successfully spotted that this is indeed indoors.
I had my suspicions and now they're confirmed.
Yeah, they are. You are definitely out of the... Okay, Rogdan, you spend a little bit longer as the others have a look around but don't notice anything. Rogdan, you sort of tap on some of the walls, investigate the fireplace. So does Emma. Nope, there's nothing really of any value here. You can only surmise that the cultists or brigands or whoever they were here just trying to get a fire lit to keep warm.
Okay. Onto the double doors.
Yep.
Okay.
okay.
Opening the door again.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and then I was hidden again. Again.
Okay.
Again.
It's a long corridor, hallway, just on the other side of the doorway. It smells damp, and glancing up, you can clearly see the ceiling here is sagged in a number of places, presumably where pools of water, possibly snow at this time of year, have collected. The carpet that was probably at one point once quite rich and thick is now all but given up and has lost its battle with the lichen, mould and fungal spores that have grown through it. There are doors to the left and the right. Both are ajar. There are some elaborate doors in front of you, made of what look like a very expensive iron fretwork with glass panes. The glass panes are intact. These doors are shut.
We heard the noises and the voices from the right, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Any objections to checking those first?
No, not at all.
So you want to head right?
Yes.
Are you sure? I think because to the right we're gonna go towards that tower and there's probably gonna be like something there. So I would suggest to go to the west side and see that we're not getting anything in our backs when we finally go to the...
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. So the door to the passageway or just out of this slightly dark.
Can we see anything through it?
You would stay at the back. Sorry, say that again, please, Emma.
Can we see anything through it if the door is ajar?
Peering through, you can see what narrow.
Okay.
Can we hear anything?
Give me a perception roll, please, Brian. As you listen, apart from the drip of water that sometimes comes from the ceiling, and particularly, Brian,
Oh dear.
That's why you know the water is dripping from the ceiling. No, you can't hear anything. Certainly the passageway beyond, as far as you can tell, has been little used. Certainly very, very dark. Emma, you can see, and you thought you could hear something heavy shift on the other side of that doorway.
Okay.
Something very bulky move, but then it's settled itself again into watchfulness.
Can we smell anything, like animal smells?
You can smell the damp of the carpet, but that's really about it. Otherwise, with snow falling now and the dampness, it's very difficult to pick up anything else.
I'll try to sneak into the room.
Okay, give me a stealth roll, please, Rex. And then move your token, please.
Oh, what have I done? For some reason, it's not letting me click. I'm not sure why it's not letting me click it.
Try dragging it. So under the skill, try dragging it over instead. It's not clicking. So under skills, there you
There
go.
we go.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
Right, so that's a 20. So I'll give you an inspiration for that.
Thank you.
Brex, move your token wherever you go. Obviously being at one with the forces of nature
Truly.
and with the force just working for you. So you move quietly like the proverbial ghost corridor beyond. There is a single door to the top, not far from where Robdan stands poised with his axe. Further down, you can see a set of double doors. Right at the end of the corridor, be a single door. The single door is slightly ajar, and it creaks slightly as you look at it, just swinging.
I will move towards that door, even though I'll probably check the one on top. I'm going to move to that one.
Yeah. Emma follows.
Okay. Folks, I mean, what we're going to do is if you want to, sort of we'll try and do is sort of give you a description you can see depending on where your token
Okay.
and then you sort of roughly, you know, take turns. Okay, so Rob, then you move to the door. You don't have dark vision, but Threnlo will step sort of up to about here so that you can see a little way. Or difficult to tell, but you suspect it might have been a kitchen. There are certainly some large tables that have kitchen implements on them, though they're long since rusted. What you can't help but notice, though, are the webs in the room, some of which are very big indeed, that is to say, thick. With the light that's now coming into that and spilling slightly into the room below you, Frex, difficult to say what it is. The door is moving slightly as wind catches it. The corridor that you're in, the ceiling actually packed, but there's a breeze that's coming up from that far door.
I'll keep an eye on, but I'll move to here. And are these doors shut?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
There's probably going to be spiders in there.
I hate spiders.
Show me how much you hate them when we fight. Okay, I'm going, since we're all in this corridor, I don't feel too bad about leaving that at my back. I'll move a little bit closer towards where I know something might be
Okay. Frex, can you give me a wisdom save, please? If you go to your main tab, you've got saves.
Oh, sure.
If you
Okay.
can give me a wisdom save. So again, just try that or you click on.
Oh my god.
Not very wise.
I changed my dying.
Okay. All right. Rather than type this, so Frex, as you get closer to the doors, there's a deep sense of unease begins to settle on you, and the air, even though you know that it's cold outside, the coldness that you feel as you approach this rather sad single door that swings in the breeze, it's much deeper, unnaturally cold. The hairs on the back of your neck begin to stand up, and you think you can hear a female's voice, a girl's voice from beyond the door, very faint and very far away. Let me go, please. I didn't do it. And it repeats and then goes quiet.
You wish it was spiders. You wish it was spiders now. I am going to take a couple steps back because I've been unnerved, and I'm going to tell them what I just heard, and see what they think we should do.
Well, Rogden will say, perhaps we should go from the topmost door down.
Yeah,
not leaving
let's do
anything
that.
behind us.
Yeah, the spider. Yeah, definitely.
Now the
Okay.
spider's looking good now, isn't it?
Yeah, looking.
Yeah.
Looking very good. Tiny little spider.
Yes, it is. It is so small that I don't know the manual at all. Quite right.
All
This
right.
won't be like Shelob's grandmother at all.
Close to the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Threnlo will lurk outside with the torch as well. And the door is slightly ajar as it is. Pushing it open isn't too much of a problem.
Rodam is the strongest of us, isn't he?
Probably. Yes.
Or who can take the most damage of our group?
I'd say probably the barbarian right now.
Definitely not me.
You'd be surprised.
So
Okay. Frex,
Good.
you nimbly
Rodam lead a party in then. Or
Yeah, I'm stealth through.
I blunder in loudly.
Okay, Rogdan, where do you wish to go?
It's so ominous, the little shadow of your dice.
Oh, it's just, yeah.
It won't be ominous in a minute. You'll know what's happened. Balrog appears behind.
Run, fly, you fools.
That's right. Okay, so Rogdan, you move. Dan, can you give me and Frex, who stand in the room? You can see these thick spider webs, which are about the thickness of your small finger, and they are still sticky. You can see the corpses of small rodents, squirrels, and perhaps even some rabbit bones still tangled up amongst these webs. Give me a perception roll, please, as you anxiously look around the room to see where the spider that's big enough to make these is. Rogdan and Frex, you can see there's a high up in the ceiling. Looking up, you can see this enormous creature, great big hairy legs, huge bulbous body, and obviously multi-eyed, and it is stalking across the ceiling towards you. As you look up and as it looks at you, it pauses for a minute and then leaps at you.
Oh my lord.
Give me initiative rolls, please.
Is that all of us?
Yep, all of you. As Freck shouts out, "It's a spider!" And Rogdan says, "Yes, it is."
I concur.
And Brian says, "I told you I hated spiders." Freezes in absolute panic. Okay. So,
22.
Emma.
So I go first.
Yeah, you get to go first.
Can I sneak into the room?
Yes, you can. You're going to make a hide roll, and I will give it a perception check.
Okay, so I do stealth.
Yeah. No. Rubbish. Okay, so move to where you want to go. You have been as you come into the room, you can see the spider descending on a thread and moving in towards Rogdan and Frex. It doesn't respond to you at all. So as far as you're aware, you've got to move to where you want, where you wish.
So I got. I take out my short bow.
Yeah.
And have a go at it.
Okay.
Action. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I forgot to aim.
Advantage.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got advantage on it because you're there. Because you've made. So if you left click to select it, yeah, you've got advantage because you've made your hide roll. It doesn't know that you're there.
Okay.
There you go. So that's a hit. Now roll your damage.
Yeah. Full bow.
And you'll also get obviously damage on that.
Yeah.
So we'll just roll 1d6.
1d6 for the sneak attack.
Yeah. So if you just roll your damage, you've done that, and then roll 1d6, and I'll add that manually. But I'll set up an effect.
Which one is a 1d6? Is that this one?
Fifth dice along.
The square one. Yeah.
The square one. Oh yeah.
Okay, and I'll add that damage manually. Right. So the spider hisses angrily as your arrow thuds into its side, but without pausing, I think it will go for the barbarian. So it comes at you, Rogdan.
Oh.
Right. It attempts to bite you. Oh my god. And fumbles. Excellent. Rogdan. Your turn. So remember, control.
Smash it.
Yeah, it's your turn, and control left click to target. The spider is badly injured, thrown off by the bolt that thudded in. The arrow that thudded into it misses, and you follow up with a massive blow that cleaves the thing almost in half.
Well done.
And it collapses. The ichor from the spider splashes probably over your and threatens to hit Frex, who nimbly moves out of the way. But the spider is dead.
I then rush into the room going, where is he? Where is it?
Yeah, I'm ready now. Let me just give you some experience points now, otherwise I'll forget. You only need a mere 300 to go up to level 2. Engrave that over, and I will. There you go. And 11 will get you part of the way there.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, cool.
So, yes, the kitchen. Now the spider is dead. Can be searched at your leisure. It's not being used, obviously, for some considerable time, given the spider webs that infest the entire kitchen. If there are any humans or kidnappers here, they've not been using this kitchen area at all.
Is over here, are these windows?
Yes, so there are windows to the outside. These things here are open, and it looks like they lead into storage rooms. With the aid of Fenlo's torch, who now comes into the room, there are obviously pantries. One was perhaps for meat, judging by the meat, and one was probably for maybe spices, herbs, grains, and so on, judging by the shelves.
Okay, Emma wants to check it out to see if she can find any herbs that could be. He has a poison kit, so.
Okay.
I guess I could do that. I have.
Well, sad to say that the larders were looted years ago. But Emma, can you give me a perception roll, please, as you go towards where the meat storage chamber were? There are some rather wicked-looking meat hooks that hang from the ceilings where joints would have been hung to bleed and to perhaps cure as well. There's some very faded graffiti and scratching on the wall, and perhaps a little disturbingly, there are chains that seem to, some rusted chains that have been discarded and left in one corner of the room. Sadly, the graffiti is now so worn and rain that has dripped in through the ceiling above that it's very difficult to make out what it was. You can only make out 3 letters, in fact. An F, an R, and an E.
I wonder if this is. Wasn't that little girl saying "free me"?
Mm-hmm. She was.
Could be Fricks.
If it says Fricks, I'm leaving. Bye.
And as you watch, another letter begins to appear. No, I'm kidding you.
Oh, no.
Somebody starts spelling my name on a wallet and the sign can't leave fast enough. All right. After we check these rooms, then I think we should go through the double doors.
Yeah. So there's nothing else in this room that we haven't found.
No, unfortunately, anything that was valuable is generation. Certainly did here.
Okay.
Right, the double doors here are they're arched rather than squared off. They're made of a thicker, stouter wood than many of the other doors that you've seen before.
Are they outside doors, do you think?
Based on the geography of the place and looking at the windows, you doubt. But they're certainly a little bit more grand, shall we say.
Oh. Maybe go into a dining room, do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe a dining hall, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Let's see where they go.
I'll open the door.
Okay. Your guest is a large, elaborate dining room. There are a number of long tables that run from all parallel, of course. How else would you say an elaborate banqueting hall? There are benches that rest neatly underneath all of the tables. The ceiling above it, sadly, has numerous large gaps, and you can see roof rafters above you. And the snow, of course, is falling in with intent and purpose. It's dark outside and quite cold. This dining hall was perhaps once quite grand in time. The floor is quite a delicately veined marble. You can imagine that in the past there would have been sparkling evenings with sparkling entertainment, but now sadly the banqueting hall is quiet. Set of double doors across to your left, also quite grand, and a single door in the far corner. There's another set of double doors at the far end of the room.
Okay, I'll move into here.
Yeah, Emma follows. She does a perception check of the room.
Okay, yep. You can have a quick scan of the room.
Oh.
Now I roll a 20.
The room, as far as you can tell, is completely empty. Certainly, apart from the tables, benches. Looking underneath the tables and benches, this room hasn't been used at all. There's no indication the strangely robed humans have been in here. There's no tracks. Even the animals have actually avoided this place, which is perhaps somewhat odd given the gaping holes in the ceilings and a huge spider next door, which clearly made its home in an abandoned. But the banqueting hall, the dining hall that you found, has been left alone.
I'll move towards. You said there's a door here.
That's right, there is.
I'll open it up.
The storage room. Room's empty. Perfectly dry though. Given the size of the shelves and the wicker baskets, this may well have been linen. You can certainly see the remains of some small casters that sit underneath a wooden platform, and the stubborn remains of a wicker basket that might have been used to wheel laundry around, or table linen pieces. Shelves across to the left-hand side still actually hold some tarnished silver cutlery.
All right. To the double doors.
Is the silver cutlery, is that quite valuable?
Yeah, I mean, silver is silver. So you can take yourself some silver spoons and so on. I'll put that in the party treasure sheet for you, and you can decide who takes what or whether you sell it later.
Yeah, cool.
All right, I kind of look around to see if everyone's paying attention, and then I'll open this door.
Okay.
And back up a little bit.
Okay, the door, you push on the door, but the door is actually stiff. There is something that resists your attempts to open it. You're going to have to get Rogdan, or you are going to have to really put your shoulder into this and force the door open.
My shoulder will give before the door does, that's for sure.
Rogdan will take care of this.
Right, Rogdan, give me a strength check, please. So, on your character sheet, under main, there you go. Perfect.
Oh,
right.
Well done.
The door stands no chance and opens to reveal what was perhaps once... Well, it's difficult, but you're guessing it, given there look like some beams, there look like almost a climbing frame, and it looks like there's also the remnants of maybe some large, heavy stuffed balls and what look like clubs, juggling clubs. This is perhaps once some sort of recreation room. Not sure whether it's for the family who may have once lived here or the inmates. But anyway, there's certainly indication of where people enjoyed themselves and relaxed. Unfortunately, the ceiling is all but completely caved in here, and moving through the room and around the room is going to be difficult. Wooden beams stick down and stick up in a crazy pattern that are going to make your movement around this room quite difficult.
Is the access to the gray area of the room, the other rooms, there's no access, right? It's still closed off?
That's right.
Okay.
We got
If anybody wants... Go ahead.
So it looks like we need to go back up.
Yeah, unless somebody wants to poke around, I think we're gonna...
Yeah, Emma definitely wants to do that.
Go have a peek, but be careful.
Yeah.
Okay. So Emma, this counts as difficult terrain.
Yep.
So you'd only be able to move taking a double move action, for example, you only move 30 feet.
One.
Obviously, as a rogue, you get to take this thing called a cunning action, which you can use to take a dash or a disengage, for example. So you'll probably find it a little bit, you can probably do more in this room than anybody else. Give me a perception roll, please.
Okay. Come on, I'm up. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, you can see that there are two skeletons that are buried under beams that have fallen down. It looks like they died some time ago, given the yellow of the bones. Certainly what you do find are a number around the bodies are a number of what could be perhaps useful items at some point. You find a couple of daggers, a great axe, short sword, and even some thieves' tools.
Nice.
From what?
Thieves' tools.
Okay.
So you've got another set of thieves' tools.
Very good. So yeah, Emma goes over to the skeletons and takes all what she can find.
Okay. What next, folks?
I think we want to double back, right, and get to that room.
Through the double door, maybe?
Looks like it, yeah.
Second verse, same as the first.
Rogdan, can you give me a wisdom check, please? Sorry, a wisdom save. No. You approach the single door, which is still swinging slightly. And Grundar Blackrock. Both of you, again, can hear the same thing. The room, feel the same thing. The room beyond this door is cold, and not just due to the weather outside. You can also hear a girl's voice who rather plaintively and desperately says, please let me go. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Don't hurt me. I didn't do it. It was them. I didn't do it. Please.
I call out to her, can you hear me?
I think it's a haunting.
Oh, I know it is, but I'm still gonna...
As you get closer, the voice gets further and further and further away. The door continues to swing slightly until, Rogdan, you get close to the door, and all of a sudden it slams with a loud noise and shuts.
Well, Rogdan slams it back.
Okay. Rogdan shrugs and just not fazed by these things, hurls open the door. Inside you can see another storeroom is empty of shelving. It looks like the shelving was ripped out at some point, given the gouges. You suspect gouges in the wall because they were ripped out unceremoniously. There's a large hook from the center of the room, and worryingly, in the center, hanging from the hook, is a set of manacles.
That's no good.
There's a small skeleton underneath the manacles.
Is it of a little girl, do you think?
Certainly small.
Emma, can you pick those manacles?
Yeah, I'll try. So Emma enters the room.
Mm-hmm.
And tries to pick those manacles. And first she sees what's happening here. She can see anything.
The room is empty. The window across to the left has been boarded up. Across to your left has been boarded up from the inside. Apart from the manacles that have chain suspended in the ceiling and the skeleton that is attached to the manacles and rests on the floor, the room looks to be empty. In the far corner of the room there seems to be something which is leaning against a wall. bowls maybe about a foot across and about 3 inches deep. Doesn't seem to be anything else in the room.
Okay, so I try to pick the manacles.
Okay, thieves' tools.
Nope.
I'll try to catch the body, like the skeleton, so it doesn't just hit the floor.
Okay. You pick the lock, pick the manacle successfully. They were rusted through, and you suspect that given time they probably would have fallen apart anyway. The lock mechanism has clearly been hit with water and rusted. Frex, you catch the skeleton. Give me a D20 dice roll. Just roll me a D20. 1 to 5 and the skeleton. It doesn't. You catch the skeleton, which perhaps strangely, perhaps not, given what you've heard and seen, the skeletal bones still hang together somehow. They don't fall apart, even though there's no ligaments or tendon. Something is still keeping these bones attached. The bones are cool to the touch, but not unnaturally so. Frex, give me another wisdom save, please. Thank you. What do you wish to do?
Well, I feel like we need to figure out a way to put her to rest. Even if it's just propping her near the entrance, I don't want to leave the bones in this room until we can explore the rest of it.
Could Brian do anything here, like detect if it's evil, or maybe do a blessing over the skeleton, try and free the spirit?
You could do. I mean, obviously you don't have, as far as you looking at your thinking through the spells that you've memorized, spells that you've cast, you don't think so. But certainly as a priest, you could do a blessing. You get the feeling. Can you give me a knowledge religion roll?
Okay, knowledge. Sorry, I can't see knowledge.
Oh right, hold on a minute. That might be playing different. So give me an intelligence roll. So give me an intelligence check.
It's just listed as religion.
On skills, yeah.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Yes, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Okay. Brian is one of those priests that Bibles are for other people, really. It's more about the beads and the candle and the hat. Oh my God, the hat, the peaked red hat. That's what Brian.
Clean his glasses.
Yeah.
So Brian, you probably feel that actually, if we want to do anything for an unfortunate person, perhaps a child, it's probably better maybe to bury them and cast some and do a ceremony then, rather than doing a ceremony over the bone. If we really want to help this and put this spirit to rest, removing it from the asylum would be a start. Maybe burying it in consecrated ground would be the thing to do.
All right, that's something that I personally would like to do as Brian.
Sure. Yeah. I'll
do it.
carry her out if you want to carry her out to the front, and then we can head back in.
Okay. So you can make your way out again.
Was there something in the corner, you said?
There's a copper bowl that is on its side, leaning against the wall.
Yeah. Emma wants
Be a
to see
waste.
what's in it.
It might be a waste pot or something.
The copper bowl is actually corroded. Impossible to tell what it once held. Could have been waste, like a chamber pot, possibly too small. Maybe for food, maybe water.
Okay, well, nothing special.
No.
Okay.
So I think once we've moved her just out and like place her gingerly in the snow, at least outside of the asylum, do we want to pursue north so we can clear that?
Yep.
Okay. Everyone
Yeah,
okay with that?
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so Threnlo
Sounds
makes
good.
his way. I'll move Emma and Linda. Okay. Right, these doors are obviously made of this very elaborate, very expensive and hard to construct iron fretwork, and then decorated with glass on the other side. Looks like these doors are locked, and the lock looks old but quite large. This won't be as easy as some of the other locks you've picked, Emma.
Oh,
Good thing you've got inspiration.
yeah. Can I use my inspiration?
I think you've already used it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I thought I'd rolled another 20. Maybe I was getting greedy.
Okay, so I'll try to pick it.
Mm-hmm.
Could I try guidance as a cantrip?
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, we could just knock the lock off.
Okay, so yes, what will guidance give to that dice roll? Is it a plus?
A +4. Yeah. Well, no, a 1d4. Sorry.
Right, roll that 1d4. A 4 will allow you to open the door.
No question.
me?
Yeah,
The
the
D4.
triangle.
The
Far right.
That's
Okay.
the triangle one on the far right.
Oh,
And you
oh,
can actually
unlucky.
cast that spell onto Emma, and it'll add the D4 in automatically.
Oh, cool, really?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, if you want to do that dice roll again,
So I do
Brian,
the thieves tool again.
yeah. So hold on a minute. So Brian, if you,
That's super cool.
so what you can do is if you go into mode prepare, and if you open up spells, which is over on the right hand side,
Yeah, got it.
and if you drag over guidance to your character sheet, that should load guidance in. If I can find it. Oops,
Oh.
probably gone too far. Where are we? Guidance, and I'll do it from that one. There you go. So you've now got
Ah.
guidance,
Look.
and
Well,
now,
that is- oh, sorry.
and now what you should be able to do is if you then click to combat, I believe. And for some reason it's not allowing me to drag that. That's odd. I might have to set up an effect for guidance.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. Okay, we'll stick with the original role. I'll that. You'll forgive my ignorance. I never play as a player in this game and don't have to set these up. I'll have a look and see. I'm sure you can set up, drag it over as an effect.
Right.
In fact, I'm pretty sure. If I look in modules, there we go. And if I do that, and I've just loaded an effects module, which you should all have access to. There you go. So guidance, then I can now, if you open up, Brian, if you open up there's a little icon of a man running called effects in the top right.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Right, if you click on that, you open up the whole list of effects.
Yeah.
And this will work for all of you. I think it'll do sneak damage as well. So if you now type in the bottom guidance, it will show you that that effect is loaded. And what you can do is...
So, sorry, Stuart, I can't see it.
Okay, so if you... Right, what you might have to do is modules. So you should be able to see a module which says 5E conditions and effect.
Well, I'm just looking.
When I opened it, they put it on the top left.
Oh yeah, I got it. Okay.
Right. So if in the bottom of that effect panel that opens up, where there's a little magnifying lens.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, Stu. I have it now.
Good. That's fine. So right, that creates a little man for you. If you now just press on that little, or if you, I'm hoping, if you left click, you can then drag that on. Right, you've applied it to yourself.
Okay.
You can apply it to somebody else. So I've just dragged it over and applied it to Emma.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
Nice.
Right, so now Emma, why don't you give me that skill roll again, please?
Okay. These two.
And you see it automatically rolled this.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
And this time Emma
Lovely.
was on the aid of that spell. She was inspired.
Yes, you are.
There you go. And the door opens, and you can see that you've found what was probably once the conservatory. In fact, you dimly remember that this is the conservatory that you were told was at the rear of the Montacure house before it became an asylum and hospital. There's a great arched glass ceiling above and huge glass windows. These are still intact by some miracle, and though the conservatory is icy cold, it's certainly very, very dry. Sadly, all of the bushes, shrubs, and even the trees have withered and dried out because of the years of neglect. Small branches, dried twigs, and leaf litter are scattered across the floor. There's no evidence that anybody has been in this room for many, many, many. There are double doors at the far end, and these are similarly elaborate and latticed with a very complicated, complex iron grille work. What do you wish to do?
Do they open?
Yes, you can.
I'd like to open it.
Okay. As you open the doors, some snow is disturbed. You can see some stone steps that lead down the outside. Some distance off, you can see thick, tangled trees, possibly oak and ash, but it's very, very dark outside. No starlight at all. Distantly, you can hear the forlorn howl, but there's no answering call.
Well,
Snow is falling, but falling gently.
I'll shut it again and then tell them what I saw and suggest we probably should go clear the east side of the asylum.
Emma wants to check the room first. Perception?
Yeah, you can have a quick scan around the room.
Yep. Oh.
No, the leaf litter, etc., is now so that it's quite easy to disturb the litter and have a look around. As far as you can tell, no, there's nothing here at all.
Okay.
You could perhaps, if you were at all interested, maybe you might have plants which are useful for herbs and so on, but they're long dead. They haven't been tended in many, many, many years. As you get closer to the door, Grundar, you can see that there is light spilling out underneath the doorway. The hallway or room on the other side is lit, and you can, given the coldness in the rest of the house, you can almost feel the warmth that is on the other side of this door. you're closer to whoever is holding Cordelia Montacure.
All right. Let's open the doors and see what we see.
Where is Trenlow, by the way?
He's hanging at the back, keeping his torch out of.
Okay.
So you can see a long corridor that heads north-south. There is single door, what looks like a corridor, and then what looks like an archway.
Can we hear anything? So
As you step through, Fred, and yes, you can. You can hear the sound of what looks like the clank of metal on copper, metal on metal, maybe somebody eating, maybe somebody sharpening weapons, maybe somebody hammering something on the other side, tapping something on the other side of. There is light from beyond the door that Rogden stands at as well. And Rogden, you can hear a number of voices, quiet voices, muttering, but a number of them. Give me a perception roll, please, Rogden.
Oh, well done.
There's probably 4 or 5 people on the other side of that door. Okay, or there were 4 or 5 people on the other side of that door.
Oh, do we get inspiration again?
Well, Rogdan rolled it. Rogdan gets inspiration. Sadly, he had an inspiration.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm fine. I'd let these other guys know. Hands thing in here, and we're gonna get ready to reach the room.
Okay, so Rogdan, you stand at the door. Threnlow stands in the hallway, just holding back. Grundar stands positioned in the corridor.
Yeah, Emma goes into the corridor as well.
Okay.
I'm watching to the south just so in case anything comes out of either of those 2 other spots.
Okay, yeah, you can see that there are two corridors that head off towards the east. Okay. Okay, there we go. Right, Grundar, you open the door without too much hesitation, or as they say in England, fannying about. And you surprise 4 cultists who are seated at tables eating. You can give me, all of you give me initiative rolls. Oops, ignore that. Give me initiative rolls, but you will go first because you've surprised them. Okay.
You sure you want me to keep rolling these 20s?
You need to spend your inspiration so you can get it back.
First, I need to fail a roll.
It'll go horribly wrong for you. Right, Rogdan, you go first. And I'm going to see there's a breath effect. I can drag across.
First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and rage.
Okay. So there is, I think, a rage effect. I'm sure I've seen it. So if you click on effects, come up, and yes, there is a rage which you can drag onto yourself. There you go. And then, just as before, left click to target, and then smash these things into. Right. One is obviously begins to rise to voice an objection to you bursting in to to their meal and gets no more than "I say who are," and then cuts him down. Okay. Frex, it would be your turn next.
Okay. Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to use the inspiration. That was terrible. That's not much better. I think that's a miss.
No, you just rolled damage each time.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm going to take that off. So give yourself that inspiration back.
Okay.
I'm going to set that to 0. And I'll just change him so he's not unconscious. So roll those attack rolls again. You just went straight for damage. There you go. So that's a hit. Down roll your damage, and you've still got your.
Perfect. Thank you.
And down he goes.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so now it's Grundar, your turn. You can't see anything coming down the corridor, but I don't think you're going to get a chance to attack. You're too far away.
Yeah, it sounds like they're handling it quite nicely, so I'm actually going to move just down and peek around the corner.
Yep. Okay, so if you want to let me know where you are. So you could, for example, probably get to about here and have a look. Okay, Grundar, you can see a large single door across to your left. And you can see there are openings in almost looks like some sort of courtyard. But from where you are, you can't really see much more than that. But you think there's a courtyard across in here. You can't really tell much more than that.
Well, it looks like I'm in a good spot to see anybody coming, so I'll just stand there.
Yes. Yeah. Emma, your turn. So each little square is probably 2 squares are 5 feet.
Yep.
So 4 squares are 10 feet.
1, 2, 3, 4. And I attack the cultist tree with my rapier.
What's your range on your rapier? Looks might be.
I can stand right next to it, no?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I've got the wrong token. Oh, yes, thank you, Emma. I'm sorry. Yes, off you go. So, control left click to make your attack. Off you go.
Yay.
Right. Give yourself sneak attack on this because I think it's surprised.
Okay.
So you get your sneak attack on. So roll your damage and then.
Yeah.
I don't think in effect there's a sneak attack effect, although
There
I
is.
Is there? Right. So you can give yourself sneak attack. So you go into effects, search for sneak. So if you type in sneak, there is a sneak attack, and you can drop that icon of the little man onto your character.
Okay, so where do I find that sneak attack?
So open up the effects box. So top right hand corner of your Fantasy Ground screen, there's a little icon of a man. That's effects. Click on that.
Oh, oh yeah.
It takes a little while to load.
Yeah,
there's a lot of effects there. And then what you do is if you click in the bottom, or if you type in near the spyglass sneak, it will find that there's a image of a little white or a black man on a little white background. If you left click, you can drag that onto your character.
I'll have to search in modules, I think. Sneak.
Well, Rob Dan actually dragged that onto you. Now, just damage. It will apply sneak attack damage automatically of 1d6.
Okay, wait. The sneak isn't in the. I can't find it. Sneak.
Okay, so
He needs to open up the effects module.
Yeah, load the module.
yeah, you might need to load the effects module, Emma. So go into library.
Yeah. Items effect? No.
No, click on modules, and there's something that says 5e conditions and effect.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, then as long as that is loaded for you.
Yeah.
Now if you click on that effects tab in the top right hand screen.
Yeah.
Type in sneak.
Yeah, I got it.
Right, and then you left click and drag that icon onto your token or onto your character portrait or onto combat tracker for your name. It will apply the effect to you. That is that you can now apply big damage.
Okay.
So try that. I'll just delete.
Yeah. I think I dropped it on my character portrait in my character sheet.
Okay, it's not actually turned up. I thought you could do that.
Okay.
Try dropping it on your token.
Yeah.
To drop it on the. There you go. Yeah, it's stuck. Okay, so now if you just roll your damage, it will automatically give you that sneak attack damage.
Oh.
Well, 7 and a 1 is still enough to kill it. They obviously haven't.
Okay. All right. Well done.
Brian, it is your turn. There is one left. I don't think you can get to him this turn, or you could missile him, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I'll try to do. So I'll go to the door and I'll crossbow him.
Go on then. So again, control left click to target, and then you can roll your damage. There you go. Yep, you got him.
Okay, so.
And that's a hit.
Well done. Yep.
Oh, he's still standing.
Oh, damn.
Right. Now he's surprised, so he doesn't get to go this round. Frenlo won't do anything. So guess who gets to finish him off? It can only end one way. Ah! Yes!
Oh, no.
Then you want to use your inspiration. Oh. Excellent. Frothing with rage, Robdan charges across the room and misses. Rex, with a slightly cooler head, puts a bolt between the man's eyes.
Excellent. Good teamwork.
At which point Emma says, okay, so we're not going to take any
prisoners.
Okay. Right, let me just give you some more experience points for that.
Depending on how the rest of it goes, we might want to interrogate.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
There you go. Oh, and you've got some more coming as well.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
There you go. Right, folks, I'm going to stop it there for this evening, if you don't mind. And we can pick up next weekend, 2 o'clock. Is that okay for everybody?
Yeah, unfortunately not for me.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a bummer. I'll try and see if I can record it somehow, but unfortunately I'm going to be away seeing family.
That's okay.
I'll be doing the exact same thing too, unfortunately.
Oh, so you're away as well. Shall we give next Sunday a miss then? And then pick up.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Oh, that would be excellent. That's brilliant.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just reschedule it on the calendar, and we'll just make that the next time, whatever it says.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll reschedule for next Sunday. So a week on Sunday. I'm actually not at work the following Monday, so if you wish, we can extend it and play for a little bit longer than three hours. So if we started at 2, I could probably go a little bit later if you wish.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
I won't have the marking or anything.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant, Stuart. That's brilliant.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. I hope that was rather well. Certainly, I don't think anybody even got hurt.
No, that was a lot of fun. Very.
All right. I
very
hope that was
well.
all I wanted was just get a feel for the game, just to get used to combat tracker effect, character sheets, and so on. And I think it worked.
Perfect,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much for playing, folks, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time then.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you in the next session.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. That was thoroughly enjoyable.
Oh, definitely. And Stuart,
Later, guys.
I noticed you got the Rob 2E effects pack.
Yeah.
Are they really good, are they?
Yes, well, for games like this where characters want to have all sorts of effects, sneak attack and rage and all the rest of it, it just means rather than working out how to code the effect yourself, well, Rob has done it all, so you can just drag it over to your character sheet, drag it over onto somebody else's. Becomes really useful when characters get to higher levels and have all sorts of bizarre effects, abilities, powers, and so on.
It looks awesome. I think it'll be my next purchase. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be committed to 5th edition and that sort of thing, I got them all. I must admit, I don't use the weapon effect and so much, but I certainly use all of the character effects. Just being able to drag across rage and there's, I think, turn the undead, and there's all sorts of pieces that you can drag across as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I've been watching a few of his videos, and he seems a really nice guy. And I think that's I honestly think, because I think they're $40 odd, aren't they? I think it's well worth every penny.
Yeah, it is. It's one of. I mean, I still think Fantasy Grounds is quite cheap. Once you've gone for it and you've spent the money on the actual game engine itself, much of the adventure modules, etc., I think it's cheap. Certainly, Rob 2E stuff is cheap.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
stuff that I balk at slightly is the Pathfinder. I think those are expensive, to be honest.
Yeah.
£20 to get to level 4, whereas Curse of Strahd, for example, is under £20 and you get to level 10.
Oh, right.
And it's, in terms of bang for your buck levels,
Yeah.
it strikes me that Pathfinder is a bit expensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose it's Pathfinder. My kids at school like it, so that's what they insist on playing.
Yeah.
I prefer 5th edition to Pathfinder just because it's a bit of a throwback, like me. But I must confess, my favourite rule system is the old Rollmaster rule system.
All right. Yeah. No, I have to admit, I've had a look at Pathfinder and I have the player's handbook, and I thought it was good, but I personally think 5e just a little bit more in my. Well, it's more for me. It's more role playing.
Yeah,
I think.
Yes, you do. You get into bound. So I think Pathfinder. I mean, I posted on this somewhere. I think. So gosh, I've been playing D&D now for over 2 years. And what struck me, and this might be me being bitter, there's a guy of a certain age, but it strikes me that a lot of the players that I play with and meet are frustrated online role players. So they invest a lot of time in min-maxing their characters to maximize their dice rolls and so on. So they multi-class, they combine abilities and so on and so forth. And that's great if you want to play that sort of game, but I just find that a little bit boring.
Definitely. Yeah.
I go back to 1st edition where you knew what every character went. You knew that your wizards were cannons.
Yeah.
Your clerics were there to keep you alive, and that was fine. Everybody grew up playing that when I was a lad.
Oh yeah, and me. Yeah, actually loved it.
Nowadays, 5th edition still, and certainly Pathfinder, characters are all designed to be this called balance, but I don't know, it just means that you're kind of driven to min-max your character so that you can do everything on your own, and I find it a bit boring.
So the
Rollmaster game I run on now 5 sessions, each one lasted 4 hours. We've only had one that lasted an hour, the rest is, to be honest, 80% of it has just been dialogue and role playing.
Yeah.
Very few dice rolls. To be honest.
Yeah.
That's been lovely as an opposite.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. The inn. I thought it was really, really cool.
Thank you for playing. I hope that was what. And I'll catch you in 2 weeks' time then.
Yeah. All right then, Stuart. You have a great couple of weeks, and you'll have to keep us updated on the vote for your rugby team.
Oh well, I'm afraid that came in. We came second.
Oh, I thought you were first for a while.
No, it was Hayes. You see, Hayes being school that's 4 times our size. Once they got all of their parents voting, we didn't stand a chance. But anyway, we came second in the popular vote. We came second in the panels vote as well, which is good enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Compared to Hayes, they had a better season than us. I'd still say that yes, but they've got double the players at least to draw from. But you know, heck, to at least have got the record.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been brilliant, Stuart. Many thanks again for all your hard work and everything.
No, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Finish playing this module. I'll load it up to Google Drive so you can have it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Your own copy.
Yeah, that'd be superb. All right, then, Stuart. Have a great couple of weeks, and I might chat to you now and again on Discord. But yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you in a couple of weeks, Neil.
All right then. Cheers, and you. Bye.
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 Yeah. Cheers. Bye. Well, that was awesome. So just finished the recording on this. This is just great. Hopefully this is all recorded. I will test it and then upload it. Well, this has been the first episode of the kidnapping, and we all started off at Hooded Inn many hours ago, and Emma seems to be an excellent character. I can say no more. All right then, so I'll just get this uploaded, and hopefully it will be cool. All right then, many thanks and happy venturing.